50-milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Discover credit cards do something awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you've earned doubled. See terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
The Springfield Wildcats, the Trotwood Rams. Don't miss our high school football game of the week this Friday night. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. with a Buffalo Wild Wings pre-game show. For the complete season schedule and weekly top performances breakdown, visit wingam.com.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, live here on a Tuesday. We welcome everybody in. I hope everyone's had a great day. We're off and rolling. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Mr. Kev Nash, welcome.
What up, Doe?
Excited for today's show. We got Jack Duffin, salary cap expert, coming up around the corner. When I caught up with him earlier in the week, and we joked earlier, we keep saying earlier in the week, it's Tuesday. That's how long these last 2 days have been for us, really.
Definitely.
But, one thing him and I talked about that I said I wanted to talk about in the interview was, Nick Chubb. With all this, the Browns are doing something that is completely different than everyone else in the league. And one thing I want to talk about with them is the fact that if anyone else in the league was doing this, they'd be super praised for it. But that's because any other franchises, usually there's at least some kind of winning stretch that you could tie into. Okay, that's great that you're saving all this money. That's great that you're spending all this money. That's great that spending all this money is not leading you to a situation where you have to blow it all up because you can't afford it anymore. But if all that's not leading to wins, then how are you any better of a front office than the Bengals have not spending any money,
right?
Not being able to spend any money. So we're going to talk about that with salary cap expert Jack Duffin coming up here in about 12 minutes or so. About 15 minutes or so. But nonetheless, I'm excited to have him on coming up here shortly. But we got to talking about Nick Chubb and a bunch of stuff. So I'm excited to have him jump on with us coming up here around the corner. But 518-1410, that's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. So something that was announced earlier today that got everyone's attention. Ryan Day announced the starting quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And it's kind of one of those things where, okay, cool. Remember, as we've talked about the last week or two, whoever the starting quarterback is for week 1 of the college football season, that doesn't mean that they are a guaranteed lock as the starting quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes. I think that it makes sense that Kyle McCord was named the starting quarterback earlier today. It just makes sense. If him and Devin Brown are as close, when you talk about this competition, if it is as close as what they say it is, then that means going up against a Big Ten opponent, going on the road at Indiana, no one's afraid of Indiana. But again, we've talked about some of the weird things that have happened at Indiana, where Ohio State comes out flat at times. They don't look as crisp at times.
Right.
You don't want to have a first-year starting quarterback. Now, technically, that's Kyle McCord, but he's been around a while. He's more experienced. You don't want the lesser experienced quarterback going out there while everything seems to be falling apart around him, and then he crumbles and maybe doesn't have the experience enough to come fighting back. I think it's smart to have Kyle McCord be named the starter for this Indiana game. I wouldn't be surprised to see Devin Brown get the start next week and maybe the week after, and then let 2 games of a tryout for it. You're going to see both quarterbacks in all games, but I do believe Kyle McCord's being named the starter because of how close this race has been, but because it's a road game, it's week 1, it's at Indiana, it's a Big Ten opponent. Not that they're worried about losing it, but you don't want to risk anything. You never want to say never. We've seen wilder things happen. We saw Notre Dame lose last year against Marshall.
Yep.
All right. We saw Notre Dame lose some bad games last year. Ohio State's not Notre Dame, but the thing is, it's not unquestionable for these types of things to happen. So you heard Kyle McCord be named the starter. I read it. It says breaking news, everyone going crazy. And I'm like, I'm not going crazy. Devin Brown named the starter. Cool. We get to see Devin Brown. I'm excited to see Kyle McCord. In fact, you want to know what I want to see, Kev? I don't want to see Devin Brown. I want to see Kyle McCord kick ass to such a high level on Saturday that we're not questioning whether Devin Brown's going to be the starter or not. Kyle McCord has a very good opportunity here to shut everyone up on Saturday, and just play his behind off to the point to where we're not questioning it anymore. I just got to see it. I just got to see that he has that chemistry, of course, that everyone talks about with Marvin Harrison Jr. Just got to see it. I think we will see it. I think all of this it's a very good program that we get bored talking about position battles. I think at the end of the day, I think we all knew it was going to be Kyle McCord. I'll be shocked if Kyle McCord's not the starter for the remainder of the season. We'll see what happens.
Definitely going to see what's going to happen the rest of the regular season. Obviously, Kyle McCord, he started one game during his entire Buckeye career. You were actually at that game, home versus Akron. They scored 59 points. He was 13 of 18, 319 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jack Miller even got into that game. So I'm expecting more of the same from Kyle McCord. I'm expecting, a good performance from him from the passing game. And I'm expecting that Devin Brown is going to get in this game. I want to see Devin Brown in this game because if we see Devin Brown, that means Ohio State took care of business and blew him out. That means that Devin Brown can get some reps.
Yeah, when I said I don't want to see Devin Brown, what I mean is I don't want to see Devin Brown get a start.
Okay.
So and that's the question I have, Kev, is there anything Kyle McCord could do on Saturday that'll prevent Devin Brown from starting in week 2? Like, do you think it's Kyle McCord's this week, Devin Brown's next week, or if Kyle McCord goes out there and torches Indiana in the first half and it's a blowout by halftime and they cover the spread, it's a 30-point, they're a 30-point favorite as we sit here on a Tuesday. I think that if Kyle McCord goes out there and let's say throws for 270-something yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half, and Marvin Harrison has 100-something yards and 2 of those 3 touchdowns, I think we're good. I don't think we need to, don't rock. If it's going, let it go. Don't stop. Don't hit pause on the momentum to let Devin Brown take over next week. Then they look a little dicey.
Right.
Now you've shot it all. I think to me, it's a huge opportunity for Kyle McCord right now because if I'm him, play your arse off to the point to where we're not calling to see Devin Brown as the starter in week 2.
Absolutely. This is an opportunity for Kyle McCord, and I think he's going to seize it because, these first 3 games before Notre Dame, these are really the chances for him to get better. Yes, he's gotten bigger, faster, stronger in the program and everything like that. He knows the offense like the back of his hand, but actually going out there and executing it. He's only had one opportunity to go out there on the field and execute those plays. So I think these are opportunities for him to get better and better and better. I mean, look at C.J. Stroud, how he started his redshirt freshman season off and how he ended it. He got better as the season went on. And I think these first 3 games for Ohio State, not only for the team, but it's super important for Kyle McCord to really get his feet wet. All right, I know what's going on, know the speed of the game. And let's be real, we could talk about it's Indiana, but it's his first road start as well. You know what I'm saying? His second start of his career, first road start. I mean, Devin Brown, it would have been his first start and it would have been on the road. We joke about the whole Indiana or Ohio State South type of thing, but this is a real thing. You getting your very first opportunity to go out there and throw some passes with the Buckeyes. You want to be on point.
So here's the thing, that the only quote in this article that kind of this is where, so we watched that Swamp Kings documentary with about Urban Meyer.
Your favorite documentary.
So I'm watching that, and there's so much to take away from that documentary, and sometimes what people are taking away is what wasn't in the documentary, and that's fine. I don't want to spend time on that doc, but it was something I thought about while watching the documentary that I knew I was going to be referencing when we got to this point. And seeing this quote from Ryan Day in here, it just kind of stresses my take on this. Urban has a lot of flaws, but that intensity, that's what made him great. And there was a lot of situations at Florida and at Ohio State where if he's not intense, Florida doesn't win championships.
Right.
If he's not intense, Ohio State doesn't even come away with the one national championship that they got during the Urban Meyer tenure. I think that intensity matters. I think that intensity is needed. And I don't think it needs to be, to the cutthroat level of which Urban Meyer was, but sometimes, and again, I'm not privy to practices and stuff, I just feel like at times I would love to know what Ryan Day is like at practice. Tennessee Jeff, if you're listening, shout out to Tennessee Jeff. He gets all this access. And
Mr.
stuff.
Access.
Tennessee Jeff, I'm throwing the bat signal out to you, my friend. You go to these practices. I'm not bashing Ryan Day here, Kev. I guess I'm questioning Ryan Day is because I got to give him a little bit more time. Does he have that killer instinct? This is the quote that I'm not a fan of, Kev. Ryan Day said that Kyle McCord deserves to be the starter, but Brown's play throughout the offseason will give him the opportunity to see the field as well. The biggest challenge, according to Ryan Day, able to find a rhythm and flow for each quarterback, and will go off of how the preparation for the week goes to determine playing time for both. I don't like that.
Yeah, this sounds very Steve Spurrier-esque. Guys that followed the Florida Gators back in the late 90s. Spurrier was known for playing two quarterbacks and basically having two systems out there for the quarterbacks. And it helped them win national championships. And to some Florida Gators fans, think it prevented them from winning championships because they had the flip-flop system going on. For me, I'm not a fan of that. I say pick a guy, let the guy go out there and play. And if he's, playing good, keep him out there. If he starts coughing it up, put the other guy in there. Like, you're going to cause a rift in the team. Like, so many things that go into it. Like the small, minute things, like, snap count, all that type of stuff. All those small details, you're going to throw off the new starters on the offensive line because maybe one guy's clap is louder than the other guys. Like, all those things matter. Maybe this dude throws the ball harder than the other guy, so the receivers have to get used to catching the pass from another quarterback and everything like that. All those small things truly do matter. I would prefer that, coach go out there and almost pull what's going on across the rest of the country. You'll see when you see. Like, I think one of those things that coach is doing is being maybe a little too honest.
Yep.
Some of this stuff maybe does need to be held behind closed doors because, we kind of joke about the whole depth chart situation going on across the country with the oars. And then, Oregon just basically, hey, these are the guys on the roster. You'll see them on Saturday. Like, I think some of that needs to go on with the Buckeyes with Coach Day. Keep some of this stuff a mystery until you actually need to answer those questions after the game.
518-1410, 518-1410. Give Kevin and I a call. I'm curious people's thoughts on this. Are you okay with this starter 1 week, starter the next week approach? And to be fair, they haven't technically said this.
Right.
They haven't said it. But I also don't like but they kind of have, though, with Ryan Day saying that it's going to be a week-by-week thing. I don't like that. To me, it could be a week-by-week thing. To Kev's point, like you're kind of giving out too much. Like you're bringing the curtain back a little too much. Name Kyle McCord the starter. As far as Kevin and I are concerned, that's the starter. As far as all of our listeners are concerned, Kyle McCord's the starter. As far as all of our all Buckeye fans out there, all around the world, Kyle McCord's the starter. Don't let anyone know that it could potentially be Kyle McCord this week and Devin Brown the next. Kyle McCord will tell me and Kev,
right,
if Devin Brown should be the starter next week. We'll know. We're not dumb Buckeye fans. We all know. We've watched quarterback greatness, especially over this last decade. We've seen very, very good quarterbacks play for Ohio State in decades past, and then we've seen the elite of the elite play, especially during this Ryan Day era when they've kind of opened up the offense a bit, right? Whether it was Dwayne Haskins, whether it's Justin Fields, whether it's C.J. Stroud, we'll know. If Kyle McCord goes out there and doesn't look the part, and then the next week Devin Brown's starting, guess what? Well, we'll kind of understand. Yeah, we understand. I think this is wrong of Ryan Day to do this. And I think the reason I brought up the Urban thing earlier is because Urban was cutthroat. Now, someone just messaged into the show and said, well, how come, you didn't complain about this back when he was doing this with Cardale Jones and Braxton Miller and obviously JT Barrett? And I don't think this is the same at all. I think it's slightly different. That was a completely different dynamic. This is actually one of the easier quarterback dynamics to deal with if you're Ryan Day, because I think you either know or you don't. And if you don't know, that's kind of a problem. But the Urban Meyer thing back with Cardale Jones, Kev, when, for one, Braxton Miller saw the writing on the wall, luckily, and decided to change positions to go to wide receiver. Urban still did not handle it the best with JT Barrett and Cardale Jones. But at least the reason he wasn't dealing with that was dealing with a very fragile situation. You were dealing with defending national champions. Right. You were dealing with the situation that was unlike anything we've seen before, where you have JT Barrett who comes in, replaces him, replaces Braxton Miller. Braxton goes out early in the season, is out, he's out for the season injured. And then it's like, oh, hopefully JT can get him to the promised land. JT gets him all the way, all right, to the Michigan game, sets all these Big Ten records, and then Cardale Jones comes in and then takes them to a whole other level. They blow out Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game. They come from behind and just steamroll Alabama. Not even entertaining. In fact, people forget Oregon. I don't remember anything about that game other than everyone hoisting the trophy up at the end. That was a different dynamic. That was juggling. Like Cardale Jones came back. JT Barrett, do they win it if JT stays healthy against Michigan? Do they blow out Wisconsin enough to the point to where they impress the committee to give them the benefit of the doubt and put them in the playoff with the loss? I don't think that they do. I think it was that 59-0 win over Wisconsin, that the lasting memory of that for the committee that put them in. If they win 28-14 with JT Barrett at quarterback, I don't think that they make the playoff that year. I could be wrong, but I also don't think they beat Alabama. So I don't know how this would have shaked out. But the bottom line is, I don't think that these are similar. That was a tough decision to make. This isn't tough. This is, you got to be a head coach, make a decision. This is vastly different, in my opinion, than that with Urban. Your thoughts?
I wasn't on the show then, but that I despised it. I hated it so much. I thought that caused so much of a rift inside. I didn't like it. I despised it. I despised it to the nth because remember that first game that they go on the road, they go to VTech, and that's the famous Braxton Miller spin move game. And Cardale goes out there. He does what Cardale does. Ohio State blows him out. Yada yada yada. Then you have your last year's starter coming in because technically he's the backup now, and it just felt weird. And then the season just was clunky all season long for whatever reason, the change of offensive coordinators, because remember Tom Herman went to Houston then and, promoted certain guys that maybe weren't qualified for the position. They're out there running, quote unquote, the JT Barrett offense with Cardale Jones as opposed to the Cardale Jones offense. They're not chucking it down the field. They're running quarterback counters with Cardale, who's not suit out for that. And Cardale looked bad. And then also later on in that season, JT had a situation off the field, so he gets suspended for a game after getting the starting job. And then Cardale goes back in for a game. Then, JT comes back being the starter and everything like that. It was a hot mess. And ultimately, they lost to Michigan State as well. So can't forget about that. So for me, I think that did play a role in it, the flipping and the flopping of the quarterback position. I'm a firm believer in, hey, man, you're the head coach. You make a decision. You lead the ship. We talk about this off the air about, just leadership in general. You lead this thing and they will follow. Everything may not go to plan, but if you're a good leader, 9 times out of 10, people are going to follow you. They may have feelings about how you're doing things, but hey, man, if you're keeping a buck with them, you're keeping it honest with them. Hey, man, you believe this is the best way for us to get to our goal, and our goal is to hoist another national championship trophy. Make the decision and roll with it. And if the player, like you said, doesn't pan out, guess what? We got another 5-star waiting to take your spot. So I'm just great problem to have. I'm just not a fan of the, hey, we're going to let you play the first game, then the next guy the second game, or we're going to let you play the first half, and then we'll let the other guy play the second half. Hey, man, let all that type of stuff, that competition go on in practice, man, and make a decision.
Yeah, because I think that, got to give the players a little more credit than what I'm about to say, but sometimes you risk, if you're treating it that way, your players, they feel after that. Like, for instance, you're going to get the best effort you've ever seen from this group against Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to get that same effort in the 3 games before when your head coach is treating it like 3 preseason games?
That's a fair point.
That's my concern, I guess. And as a coaching staff behind closed doors, we're going to have Kyle McCord start this game. We're going to evaluate. If he looks kind of skittish, if he doesn't look good, then I think we'll announce next week that Devin Brown, we're going to give him the start against Youngstown or whoever they have next week. Let that be, like you said, behind closed doors. But when you're going to get that balls to the wall effort against Notre Dame. It's Notre Dame. You're on the road. You're there. Whoever the starter is, that's who the coaches believe in more than the other guy. But for the first 3 weeks, are you going to get that balls to the wall effort from those guys when your coach is already telling you we're basically treating these like 3 preseason games? That, to me, with the offensive line being as questionable as it is, Jim Knowles' defense, sorry, you brought a Big 12 coordinator over. You're a Big 12 defense until I see otherwise, because that's what we saw last year. So I don't know. I think that I'm hoping we're talking quarterback when we come in on Monday, because that means the defense didn't look scary. The offensive line's not as big a problem as we thought. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping we're talking about quarterback play on Monday. If we're talking about O-line, this isn't a championship team. If we're talking about the defense letting Indiana run all over them, this isn't a championship team. I'm praying that I'm criticizing soft Ryan Day on Monday for how he handled the quarterback situation. We'll see what happens.
So you think a championship team in college football has to be elite on both sides of the ball?
Well, I guess that's up for debate whenever you consider the fact that Georgia, the best defense in all of college football last year, with all the NFL animals they have on their defense, they got torched by Ohio State. But
also got torched by LSU
in
the SEC championship game by the third-string quarterback.
So Well, we'll talk more about that. That's fair. We'll talk more about that coming up around the corner. Let's switch gears a little bit. I want to talk some NFL. Jack Duffin, salary cap expert, covers the Cleveland Browns for the Orange and Brown Report, but he covers all of the NFL as far as the salary cap is concerned. He answers a lot of really good questions coming up around the corner. I want to ask him about what's the probability of the Browns extending Nick Chubb. Could that potentially happen? You don't see it. The running back's not being valued. But Jack Duffin says the Browns operate differently. Nick Chubb could potentially be extended. We'll also talk about what's going on in Cincinnati. How come Joe Burrow's contract is not done yet? What is happening? We'll get to all of that coming up. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers here to tell you about OGW Energy Resources. If you own a home or a business and want to save money, then going solar with OGW Energy Resources is the way to go. OGW Energy Resources have been helping the Miami Valley save money by going solar for over 14 years. There is no better time than now to look into going solar. For more information, check out their website at ogwenergyresources.com. Go solar today. OGW Energy Resources. Your energy, your future, control it.
Saving money in your next exterior stain project with 11% off everything at Menards. Tri-Cabot premium stains and finishes for unbeatable quality and protection against weathering for your exterior wood surfaces. Australian Timber Oil provides translucent, rich color and dimension to decks, siding, railings, and outdoor furniture. A gallon of Australian Timber Oil is $49.98, plus save 11%. Good through September 4th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
to go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring today.
Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. For a limited time, buy one, get one 50% off on select interior and exterior paints and exterior stains via Lowe's gift card rebate. And the savings don't stop there. Save on select 3-quart mums. Right now, just 2 for $12. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/30. Mums offer in-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last. More terms and exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/rebates for details.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Looking for the best venue for your upcoming event or party? Check out our VIP suite at Polking Lane South. It's a unique state-of-the-art VIP 8-lane luxury suite. It's not too soon to book your holiday party. Call today and let the good times roll. Let us book your holiday event at any of our centers. Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, or Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive. Ho, ho, ho. With more ways than ever to connect to news and entertainment, did you know that 90% of new car buyers want the tried and true AM/FM radio option? That's because your local radio stations are reliable, trustworthy, and bring you a local connection that can't be replicated. Not to mention, we are free, no subscription or cellular data required. More than 80 million Americans each month depend on AM for their news, weather, and entertainment. Visit wearebroadcasters.com and tell us how you depend on AM.
I'm not exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Hi, it's Keith Byers. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them right into your joint to restore and to repair that damaged tissue that's causing all that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC treatments. If you have constant pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or back, you need to call and get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall, moving around pain-free, doing the things you love again, walking, hiking, playing with the grandkids. Call QC Kinetics and see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. Now is the best time to get started. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
Shop Labor Day savings at Lowe's. Now's the time to refresh your outdoor space for less. Lowe's knows home improvement.
The wait is finally over. The college football season is finally here. Don't miss the Ohio State Buckeyes as they kick off the season this Saturday on the road in Indiana. The Ohio State Buckeyes at the Indiana Hoosiers. Pre-game coverage begins at 2 p.m. Kickoff at 3:30 right here on Dayton's radio home of the Ohio State Buckeyes. 1410 ESPN Radio and 92.9 Jack FM. Go Bucks!
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. We're close. We're getting closer and closer to the kickoff, the NFL season. We got college football kicking off this weekend. We're already a couple weeks into our high school season here locally. To talk a little NFL, I'm excited to bring on our next guest, salary cap expert with the Orange and Brown Report. We got Mr. Jack Duffin. Jack Duffin joining us from, well, you know, not here in the States, out of the country. He's hanging out with us here today. Jack, welcome in, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's an exciting time of the year. It's mad. Over 1,000 players get cut from NFL teams in the space of like 72 hours. And I don't think you'd see anything else like that in sport anywhere. So incredible.
Especially with the, you know, with so many, you said 1,000 players being cut right now. And obviously the season less than 2 weeks away at this point. And it's just it's a mad scramble. You know, a lot of these guys have gone through the grueling camps. They're in shape, if you will. Some will, wherever they end up, may not be as, experienced within those particular systems. But some of these guys will find jobs and others will keep looking. It's kind of like the transfer portal right now. This is the NFL's version of the transfer portal, if you will. Just a mass exodus of players.
Yeah, and then you always get the guys who are like, oh, we can't let go of this guy. We'll never make the practice squad. Someone else is going to pick him up. And then we're sat here in 2 days' time, re-signing all those guys, even like an Austin Watkins, who was the darling of the preseason. Hey, the Browns think they might get him back. So it's one that lots of teams are cutting exciting young players. And just because he looked really good against sort of third-string cornerbacks that are also getting cut and not making teams, teams are aware of that. It's not like he was playing up against Jalen Ramsey, sort of Jair Alexander level corners. He was doing it against weaker competition. So who knows? He could be back on the Browns practice squad come Wednesday, Thursday, very soon.
Yeah, and how much of that do you think had to do with the return of Goodwin, which, considering the circumstances with him, it's not like that was just your typical ankle sprain or something that was a scary health scare, but he's cleared to return. So from a selfish football standpoint, we're happy he's back just because of his speed and his ability, but also because, his health, and we're glad he's healthy. But how much did that have a role with why the Browns moved on from him?
Oh, it's massive. I was sat here thinking, when was the last time the Browns had a wide receiver 3 that was as talented as Marquise Goodwin is as a wide receiver 4? That is the range of depth. And it's fascinating. Usually we're sat at this time of year as Cleveland Browns fans and we're like, oh, can we find a starter here? Can something else happen? We're chatting about sort of like wide receiver 6, tight end 3. And that is a pleasant change from the darker days of old.
Yeah, Bengals fans get mad at me because, and I don't think I'm like spinning this here. Like, obviously, the Bengals, I think, have the talented wide receiving core in the AFC North. And then I like the Steelers. I think they have the second most talented, as far as with Pickens and company. But I think that the Browns have the deepest wide receiving unit in the AFC North. Is that a hot take like I'm being accused of, or is that a pretty realistic assessment?
No, I think that's fair. The top 3, it's easily the Bengals. I don't think it's that close. But when you start looking at that depth, because outside of sort of Tyler Boyd, there's a couple of guys that might have something, but we don't know that yet. But Tillman, exciting. David Bell had a better rate of getting open against man coverage last year than Chris Olave. And that is striking considering Chris Olave, incredible wide receiver talent. And if you look at how much money is getting spent on the roster, the Browns are spending over $300 million. If we compare that to what the Bengals are spending this year, is $241 million. You would expect the Browns roster is going to be a bit better if you're spending an extra $60 million on it.
With that too, and again, the thing is with all these massive contracts, the one thing about that again, being a fan of the Browns, and when the Browns got Deshaun Watson, and they already had like Myles Garrett, and you had Nick Chubb, and you had they took care of Denzel Ward, and obviously they made the trade for Amari Cooper. There's big names, big contracts, and then they make the huge trade, of course, for Deshaun Watson. He gets that mega deal, the fully guaranteed deal. Everyone lost their minds over it, but fast forward not even a year and some change later, and that contract looks about as friendly as any in the league right now. But the one pushback you always get is, well, the Browns, good luck once that money, they're not going to be able to afford anything else now that they've paid Deshaun Watson. But yet here the Browns are. They keep kicking the can down the road. They keep restructuring deals. $38 million, the last I checked, in available cap space. I mean, significantly more than anyone else in the NFL. The question I have for you, and I think a lot of Browns fans have for you, Jack, is that money freed up for something in particular, potentially being a move before the season? Maybe some help, some insurance around the trade deadline, or is this just simply to roll over some cash into next season, which gives them even more flexibility in as far as concerned?
Yeah, so it's all there ready to be rolled over to next year. By all means, if something crazy happens, they lose a key piece, they can make some move that they don't plan to make, and it gives you just options and flexibility. But the plan is to roll that over, and it's to allow them to keep outspending the league. So effectively what they're doing, each team might set a budget. The Browns are outspending the average NFL team by $50 million a year if we look at the last 3 years. If we take the last 3 year window, they're outspending the Bengals by $200 million over the last 3 years. And hey, to Bengals, you go, hey, you've drafted well. You've won more games than the Browns in the last 3 years, and credit where credit's due. Well, 2 years. Let's see what happens in this third year here. But it's one that they've now got to put up and deliver. The Browns, though, because Jimmy has them and having an owner that is incredibly cash rich, it's not just rich. There's different types of rich when you get to NFL. It's not just wealth. It's having that liquid cash to just go and throw around. They're able to basically go, hey, we'll spend the same budget other teams are doing, but we're going to spend 2 years into the future. And as long as the salary cap keeps going up, fingers crossed there's no pandemic, and that's what caught the Saints off guard, then they can continue to do this. It's entirely sustainable. There's nothing they're doing that you look at and go, hey, they can't keep doing this for years and years and years. And outspending the league by $50 million a year effectively, and that's just the average. That's not the bottom of the league and sort of below average where the Bengals spending is. That's just league average. They're effectively getting Deshaun Watson for free. They've got an average roster plus a free Deshaun Watson. It's a nice spot to be in because people are going, oh, what if Deshaun Watson struggles? You've blown all this money. What's going to happen? They've got that. So it's a really, really exciting. And hey, we're grateful as NFL fans that the Chiefs aren't spending the same way the Browns were. Because if they had an extra 50 million worth of talent, it would be 31 teams competing for who's going to lose to the Chiefs every year.
Why? So the Haslams have been around for a while, Jack. And by the way, salary cap expert Jack Duffin hanging out with us, Orange and Brown Report. The Haslams have been around for a while. Why now? Why is this like the way people talk about the Browns and their approach to the salary cap? It's almost as if like, oh man, they got brand new ownership and brand new management and everything. Obviously, Andrew Berry plays a huge role in this as well, but it's not his money he's spending. It's the Haslams. Was this Andrew Berry philosophy that he pitched to the Haslams and they jumped on board? The Haslams have been cash rich for a long, long time. They've been the owners of the Browns for quite a while. Why all of a sudden over the last couple of years, Jack, is this the philosophy for Cleveland?
Yeah, so I think we saw the journey initially was Sashi Brown right at the start said, hey, there's not enough good talent on this roster, so let's gut it, get lots of high draft picks and roll over lots of cash so we can spend and go out there and really aggressively tackle talent and where we can fill that aim. There were some crazy years with John Dorsey where he just went, hey, let's just spend everything. And it wasn't so much about building sustainable. It was like, let's just win now and put some wins on the board so fans and everything is trending in that direction. But since Andrew Berry's been there, it's like, hey, let's be aggressive, but also be managed. And I know that seems weird to talk about management when you're out spending the league by such a vast amount. But at the start of the offseason, I was like, hey, I think they'll spend around this much cash. They're about $3 million over that. When you're talking about sort of a $300 million budget, it shows that they're doing what I would expect them in the realm they should be in, which is positive to see. It's not like they're spending crazy sums and you're going, hey, they can't sustain this. But there was no point pumping in money to lose when it was about getting the number one pick, getting high draft picks and sort of churning the roster and finding some good players. Now's the time to sustain that winning and spending sort of a sixth, well, 20% extra than just league average. That's a massive amount of benefit because, hey, Andrew Berry gets to have a bigger budget. If he was trying to do this team and then cut 50 million of cash out of the roster, that's grim.
Jack Duffin with us here. Jack, a couple more things. I know, I appreciate your time here this evening for you, of course. The Nick Chubb is a fascinating piece that I'm glad that the Browns do have on the roster this season, but take the name brand away from him, take his production away. At the end of the day, teams who have highly paid quarterbacks, teams who have a lot of money paid into wide receivers and pass rushers. When I always say I disagree with this idea that the NFL is not they don't respect the running backs. It's just they're not financially prioritizing them because it's a simple thing of supply and demand. I don't know why we make this more difficult than it needs to be. I'm glad Nick Chubb's still with the Browns, but it's also kind of wild because does it make sense for Cleveland to continue putting money into the right position, or are they fortunate enough to be able to do that because of all the reasons you just stated, because of the rollover money, because of the cash rich owner and the strategy of how they manipulate the cap? Is that why it's realistic to maybe expect Nick Chubb to be around even past 2023, or will the Browns kind of follow suit with the rest of the league where it's just not smart to invest into your running back?
Yeah, if they were trying to match the other teams in the league and you had to kick sort of 50 million out of the budget, you're starting at running back, and that's just an unfortunate nature of the position. But when you're able to go out and spend more than league average at all 22 spots on the roster, you can afford to do a little bit more. When Nick Chubb was extended, it looked like there would be no chance of another deal because you would expect the position market to keep increasing. Instead, in an NFL and the salary cap that is flying up at a crazy rate, we're talking 7, 8, 12% up year on year. And obviously it'll move around, but the running back position is going down, which is just incredible. You couldn't imagine a market which is continuing to grow and then one position, just one single position. Everything else is trending up. Kickers, special teams, the lot. Just running backs is going down. And that opens up the door to Nick Chubb hanging around. And if we look at when Kareem Hunt was extended by Andrew Berry, it happened on the first Tuesday before week 1. So date for the diary, guys. Next Tuesday, just before the start of the season, we could see that, especially if Jonathan Taylor's moved. They could go out and go, look, we're going to guarantee the 2023 and 2024 season. We'll put 2 option years on the back where the team can get out of it if health and stuff declines. And that's going to be the thing with Nick Chubb. You just genuinely don't know. People go, oh, he could do it forever. No one knows that answer. And that's why they just want to keep that flexibility, because they'll happily keep him around if he can produce like Nick Chubb. But the minute he's not, they're not going to care, because it's not about selling jerseys or keeping fans happy. It's about winning Super Bowls. And the minute he is not performing up to the level of his contract, you've just got to move on, and they'll find the next stud. As you said, supply and demand is crazy. There is so many gifted running back athletes coming out that they're almost causing a knock-on impact. That it's like, hey, why extend this guy? There's another superstar athlete just walking out of college.
Send us out with this. I know you cover the Browns and obviously their salary cap, but you obviously kind of follow the trends of the league to kind of obviously put context into what the Browns are doing. But stay in the AFC North. Look, Jalen Hurts got paid right away, right after the season, obviously. Lamar, after a lot of kicking and screaming on both sides, not just him, they get a deal done right before the draft. Justin Herbert gets taken care of. We knew it was going to be the summer of those quarterbacks with Joe Burrow being there, but Joe Burrow, here we are, even with the injury. I mean, the season kicks off in less than 10 days, and yet he still doesn't have a contract. Everyone thinks I'm stirring the pot. I'm like, he has totally changed that franchise. There is nothing that he can ask for that the Bengals should say, yeah, we can't do that. Like, there's just no excuse. But yet here we are, deal's not done. I think that's weird. I think that if you think about it, it should just be a blank check, fill it out yourself, and then we all move on. I think it's weird. I think there's something strange going on as to why it's not done. If you think about it, strip it down. Joe Burrow is asking for something, and the Bengals are bulking at it. What are they bulking at? Why do you believe a deal has not been done yet? And is this some of the the alarms that you said were, or the red flags that could potentially impact an organization like the Bengals, who, unlike the Browns, are not cash rich? They can't, it's not easy for them to do fully guaranteed contracts at any level. What is your takeaway as far as what you think is the holdup in Cincinnati right now with Burrow's deal?
Yeah, it's bizarre. I didn't think there'd be any issue with Burrow. Once we get into the Higgins, the stuff like that, I thought there might potentially be a challenge there. But you would assume this would be done. It's like, hey, add $500,000 to whoever the last quarterback that gets paid, and you just go next one up. I don't think guarantees are as much of an issue as people think. Maybe put in some injury guarantees, but they're not more than that, because the last above-average quarterback to get cut in the NFL was Peyton Manning. That is like how far back you have to go, that guarantees just don't affect these guys. And when he got cut, he then got more money on the next deal after he'd been cut. So it's one that cuts just don't impact that position. If you above average, you're safe for as long as you want. Even Jared Goff is just keep continuing to get paid, whereas you would assume that'd be an obvious cut. But there is such a shortage of quarterbacks. So I think it's one that it will get done. I'm not sure why it's taken so long. They were sensible. They sold the naming rights to the stadium. Why wouldn't you? It's money that you can put into the position and keeping him around. So I think it will happen. I think it will be a massive number, that like $1 million, $500,000 a year more than Justin Herbert, I believe, was the last. But yeah, I would have expected it done by now. It might be one that just happens between the end of all this roster movement and week one. But he would be mad to go out there and start playing again without, because we saw that injury the other day. If that would have been a lot more serious, and you never want to see a player get that serious an injury that you go, yeah, I can't play anymore. But anything like that is always a risk. So get your money, sign it, and then go out there. And he is going to be a really, really fun player to watch. The hometown discount stuff, no, I don't believe in any of that. You never really tend to see it. And look, the old Tom Brady saved the Patriots. He was playing for like $3 million a year less. It was like, are you really telling me that $3 million saved there was so good at like below like average free agent made all the difference? No, it's just because Tom Brady was amazing. The money didn't really impact him much.
All right, good stuff. Jack Duffin, salary cap expert, Orange and Brown Report. Awesome enough to join us here. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio. Jack, thank you so much, sir.
Have a good day.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
School on! Sing on! Back to school is on, and Staples has great prices on everything you need for your best year yet. Save on headphones and laptops. Save on notebooks, pens, and all the essentials. Priced low and still in stock. And right now at Staples, 24-pack Crayola crayons and comp books are only 50 cents each. Plus, select notebooks are just 35 cents each. School on, save on at Staples, where school savings are always in session. Ends 9/16. In-store only. Limit 30.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. DayQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. The daytime, non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
This is Keith Byers for Superbook Sports. You spend valuable time thinking about which bets to place each week. So why wouldn't you want the best company in the business to be the one who handles those bets? Superbook Sports is the most trusted name in Las Vegas, and it's now live right here in Ohio for all your sports wagering needs. Superbook has a team of dedicated odds makers behind the counter in Las Vegas setting all the prices. We're talking about guys with decades of experience showing you why Superbook has the best odds around. And right now, you can look ahead to hockey and hoops postseason and place a bet on who you think will take home the title. So download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com to wager and win today. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-589-9966. Call 1-800-589-9966. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-589-9966. Call 1-800-589-9966.
Ready for a new take on Nashville Hot? Swing by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for the Nashville Hot Mac and Cheese Bowl at a great price. With hand-breaded premium breast strip bites tossed in Nashville Hot flavor, all nestled into a bowl of creamy mac and cheese. It's a meal with craveable kick. Discover the hottest thing in mac and cheese when you try the Nashville Hot Mac and Cheese Bowl from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken at a great price. Here for a limited time, only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
At Harley-Davidson of Xenia, the atmosphere is positively electric as we look to the future. Our name may have changed, but Harley-Davidson of Xenia has been locally owned since 1984. Under our new management, the staff and store are buzzing to get you set up for the open road. Whether you're shopping for merchandise, a new bike, or just need some maintenance on your current ride, Harley-Davidson of Xenia is here for you. Visit us online to learn more and to place a reservation on your new bike. hdofxenia.com.
Shop Labor Day appliance savings at Lowe's. Now's the time to refresh your kitchen for less. Lowe's knows home improvement.
The Springfield Wildcats, the Trotwood Rams, one of the premier Week 3 matchups in the Miami Valley. Don't miss our high school football game of the week this Friday night on 1410 ESPN Radio and on 101.5 Hank FM. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:30 p.m. with a Buffalo Wild Wings pregame show, leading you all the way up to kickoff at 7 p.m. Stream the game at wingam.com.
I don't know what that's about, but whatever. 518-1410. You hear it on both sides?
Yeah.
You hear me? But just that cue, that song is coming through just on one side. It doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. It's probably just a fluke. So a true professional once told me it's just a fluke. Anyway. Shout out to Jack Duffin, by the way. Appreciate Jack Duffin taking time and hanging out with us. So
what time is it over there?
7, I believe. Wow. He said it was 7 o'clock, like they were sitting down to eat dinner. But are they really only 4 hours?
Yeah.
I don't know, nonetheless. But he gave us some time today. Appreciate that.
Got time.
As far as that's concerned. So, of course, this came in. Ryan Holzapple, make sure people can read this for those who are hanging out with us. on the social media side of things. The Haslams remind me of Daniel Snyder. They spend and spend poorly and never end up winning a thing. Ryan, I disagree. I don't think they're spending poorly. They spent poorly. So a lot of this has to do, by the way, the Haslams. Yeah. Okay. Let me change that. Yes. The Haslams have spent poorly in the past because they had no structure. They had no direction. Andrew Berry is the difference. Andrew Berry is the one that's used because that's why I asked Jack that question, Kev, of, okay, the Haslams have been around for a while. Why are we talking about the Haslams spending recently as if like this is a new wave, as if they're new owners that took over and have changed everything? Andrew Berry is the guy that came in, pitched this idea of and showed them how they, if you got to give us more, you got to give us the money to work with. And the Haslams have trusted Andrew Berry as far as that's concerned. So yes, have the Haslams, but they've made, you got to give the ownership credit. If you're going to blame them for all the mistakes they made, hiring Andrew Berry was a very smart decision. Because I liked Dorsey. I thought Dorsey was making, that's why, Nick Chubb, Denzel Ward, taking care of Myles Garrett, all that stuff was Dorsey, right? Like he laid the groundwork for this, but he also made so many bad decisions that it ultimately led to his exit. And then Andrew Berry was able to come in and, obviously salvage the guys that were there, clean out the mess. And then now all of a sudden this money that's being spent, it's being manipulated through the rules within, under the cap umbrella. So I'm not giving the Haslams credit, if you will. They made a very good decision with Andrew Berry, just like I'm not giving Mike Brown credit for the success of the Bengals the last couple of years, because can you sustain it? And that's ultimately what Ryan's technically kind of asking about, or stating. I'm not going to give Mike Brown a single piece of credit at all because you drafted your general manager, your makeshift general manager drafted a bunch of good players because you won 2 games in 4 games in back-to-back seasons. I'm not going to give you credit for that. But if you find a way to keep and pay Joe Burrow to make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, which they will, and then you keep T. Higgins and you keep Jamar Chase and you keep weapons on both sides of the ball and you continue drafting to the point where you don't have to worry about anything, then I'll be impressed. And as far as the Haslams are concerned, I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, Kinner, he's being a homer. I'm not. Ask Kev. I opened up the show and said, all of this is great, but if it doesn't lead to winning, it doesn't matter. So I agree with you. You guys think you're trying to get one up on me, and it's not going to work because I'm saying basically the same thing. I'm just being realistic with my team. You guys are just being haters. You're trying to pop a bubble in this thing that the Browns are doing something that no one else in the NFL is doing. But if the Broncos were doing this, if the Chiefs were doing this, we'd be talking about how great of an organization that they are, right? But because it's the Browns, no one trusts it. And I'm here to tell you, I don't trust it either, Kev. I like the moves they've made. Folks, forget the fact that it's the Browns. They have $38 million in cap space still when you've paid Deshaun Watson, you've paid Nick Chubb, you've paid Denzel Ward, you've paid Myles Garrett, you've paid David Njoku, you've paid Amari Cooper. That's what I'm trying to say. And I know I'm missing. They paid Juwan Thornhill. They revamp that entire defense. They bring in Jim Schwartz. You revamp pretty much an entire roster in 2 years, and you still have $38 million in cap space with the highest paid quarterback of fully guaranteed money ever. Forget your hatred for the Browns. Kudos to the Browns for doing that. However, Ryan, you're correct. I'm correct. Everyone's correct. Kev, if they don't win, find a way to win. Within this window, it doesn't mean anything. But I tell you what, I'm not going to sit here and be upset about it. I'd much rather be the Browns with their financial situation than Cincinnati's, who there's a reason Joe Burrow hasn't signed yet. We don't know what it is. There's really no excuse. I'll be very surprised if he goes into week 1 without a contract. But then again, I'm surprised we headed into the preseason without him having a contract.
True.
Kev.
Very true. Very true. So I think we kind of talked about this last week when we were talking about baseball, though. Would you rather your team be, a small market team like the Guardians and the Reds, or a big powerhouse team like the Dodgers, Anaheim, or the Mets or the Yankees? It's kind of really that same fold. But in this sport, there's a salary cap, but guys are under the salary cap and multiple guys are paid because of the billionaire owner is willing to dip into his personal wallet. So I think it does have to pay off. And you know who wants it to pay off the most? The owner, because he's thinking like, okay, Andrew Berry, you sold me on this vision. You sold me on this vision that I'm going to, dip into my personal stash to pay these players so we can keep this cap space open to get multiple good players, as opposed to, only have a good quarterback and a good wide receiver and a good defensive player and a whole bunch of others on the team. I have multiple good players at multiple positions. I have a stacked roster with money to spare in case we need to make a additional free agency move during the trade deadline or whatever have you. So it has to pay off in his mindset, because his mindset before was, you know, he was a meddling owner. You know, I'm sure we'll talk about Jerry Jones later on, but like he was one of those type of guys. He was part of the reason they traded for Manziel and everything like that, like a meddling owner. So he's kind of taking a step back and let the football people be football people. So in his mind, this better work out because it didn't work out when I was in charge. And if I gave over, you know, power of attorney, so to speak, to someone else and it doesn't work out, I might as well be making all the decisions like I was before if it's not going to work.
Yep. And right now, so Ryan Holzapfel again, what have the Browns won since Andrew Berry took over? He took over in 2020. Okay. Now that was still technically the pieces. I mean, he took over the cap situation in 2020 and still was able to finagle some things. That's how they were able to go out. And I forgot the name of the tight end. They made him a top 5 paid tight end in football. Hooper. Oh, you know, they were able to they added Hooper, you know, and so they had Njoku and Hooper. Obviously they were making, but since he came over, so 2020, you know, obviously for that very weird year with the pandemic. And then you get to, you know, 2021 and 22. So that's still the stuff that they were sitting back and waiting to see what they had with Baker Mayfield. Okay. They, you know, so with all of that being said, then 2023, it's that you're waiting on the Deshaun Watson suspension and everything along those lines. The bottom line is let me put it this way. I mean, I get it. The Browns haven't technically won anything since Andrew Berry has been there, but this is the healthiest the Browns have been roster wise and cap space wise.
Okay.
And it's the best balance they've ever had, talent and cap space. They've never had this. And Andrew Berry did this same thing with Philadelphia. He did the same thing with the San Francisco 49ers. He's done this everywhere he has gone, and he's going places. Like, for instance, Andrew Berry in Cincinnati wouldn't be Andrew Berry because of the poor owner in Mike Brown. That's why I'll give Duke Tobin credit if he is their general manager, whatever they're calling him. He's making things happen, Kev, without a whole lot of money. I think that's pretty impressive. However, I'll still take Andrew Berry over Duke Tobin. I'm giving Duke Tobin credit, but Duke Tobin's been there for a long time. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's not, you know, like I said, you get a bunch of draft picks because your team stinks because you win 2 games and you win 4 games. And now you want me to say that your general manager is awesome. I'm sure if you give a lot of general managers out there a bunch of high 1st round picks and high 2nd round picks that they're going to, you know, have a chance to turn it around. It's the NFL. It happens all the time. So, but can you sustain it? I agree with everyone. The criticism's fair, but I think that regardless of whether the Browns have won anything since Andrew Berry has been there, it doesn't take away that Andrew Berry has actually done one of the most impressive jobs, but he's getting credit for signing the sexual abuser Deshaun Watson. So he's not going to get credit, right? Like you feel icky giving him any kind of credit, right? I get it, but we'll see what happens. Bottom line is though, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, Andrew Berry, I'm not impressed with the fact that you created $38 million in cap space. When you've paid all these contracts, like, I'm sorry, but like if it was so easy, why is no one else in the league doing it? That's not easy. And by the way, you have to have money and you have to be willing to have money to spend. You have to be willing to give guaranteed money. I think Cleveland's on the verge of going somewhere positive finally, but until they have a winning season, like that's why this season's so important. Because to Ryan's credit and everyone else, if they lose this season, it doesn't matter how much money you have over in the cap space or whatever, because then you feel defeated. You have all this talent on both sides of the ball. You have your quarterback. You have one of the top 3 running back. You have dominant pass rushers. You have a very good secondary. Juwan Thornhill, I would love that addition. You have a very good Jim Schwartz, defensive coordinator. You have all this, and you still can't win? The Browns will never have a chance to win. Ever. You'll never win anything if you can't find a way to win with this, bottom line. And I say win, contend for the division, make the playoffs, contend for a Super Bowl, something. Doesn't mean you have to win the Super Bowl, but by golly, be in the damn playoffs. Be in the playoffs. One way or another.
It's what or bust.
It's
what
playoffs or bust. I think they're good enough to win this division. I'm a homer until the season starts, but Deshaun Watson, from everything I've heard from him at camp and that we saw he's gotten better as the preseason went on, I'm fine. But you know what? Kenny Pickett and the Steelers looked really good too. Lamar Jackson, this is the most weapons he's ever had. And he's financially taken care of, and he's happy and content, and he won't have to fake injuries late in the season anymore. That way the Bengals don't have to worry about almost losing to the backup quarterback in Baltimore on their home field. It took a miracle play by the defense to keep him from being bumped out in the 1st round by Huntley. But by all means, keep questioning my team. Keep questioning the Cleveland Browns.
Man, you're in mid-season form.
Woo. It was a fluke, I tell you. It was a fluke. Let's see. I don't feel like reading all that, Shaw. You write books. Gordon Gross says, if it all comes down to your draft picks panning out to be stars or not. Well, I think it matters. Your draft picks have to pan out, yes, but can you sustain it? It's not just about your draft picks one year. To the Bengals' credit, it's multiple draft classes that have been stacked on top of one another. But Jack Duffin made a good point. You could draft well, but can you continue drafting well? You have, like, the Bengals are relying on having a killer draft every year. That's not possible. You're flirting with disaster there. One bad draft class could set you back. So that's what the Bengals are playing. Like, they're going to be fine as long as they continue drafting well. I don't think they didn't have a bad draft this year. They haven't had a bad draft in years. I give them credit where credit's due. They've killed it. They turned their franchise around through the draft, but they haven't turned their franchise around through free agency. They've plugged some holes here and there with Hendrickson and others, but like, you've also let Jesse Bates go. And then your answer is, well, we replaced them with rookies. I don't know if that's an answer. It may be a temporary answer, but it's not the answer. You still have to spend money in free agency. That's why I think this T. Higgins thing is not realistic and all this other stuff of keeping the big three together. But who cares about that? Just get Joe Burrow paid already. What's going on? What's wrong with you guys? Anyways, it's the Kinner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Coming to you live from the Superbook Sports Studios in Kettering. You're listening to Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast mostly clear tonight, 58 the overnight low. Sunshine, 74 Wednesday, mostly sunny, 77 Thursday. I'm Rick Schrepp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Do you or any of your family members, neighbors, or friends own a property that you just want to be done with it? If so, call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you to take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. Call 614-470-2000. That's 614-470-2000.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay, Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment, featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 36 months. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check them out online at ColumbusEquipment.com.
Want to try the best in boneless chicken? Head to Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and pick up a 10-piece strips meal. With 10 freshly marinated, honey-dipped, hand-breaded breast strips, 2 irresistible large sides, 5 fluffy biscuits, and 3 dipping sauces, it's the best in strips and a meal to match. Bring home dippable, craveable perfection for the whole family with a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken 10-piece strips meal at a great price. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
This is an auction you will not want to miss. It's going to be incredible. It's the Brown & Sons Nursery's annual stock reduction auction of high-quality nursery stock. Save hundreds, even thousands of dollars. The auction starts promptly at 7:19 a.m. on Saturday, September 9th. Feel free to come out and jump into bid anytime during the day. 4 auction rings run all day. Brown's has a huge inventory of shade trees, shrubs, evergreens, ornamentals, and perennials up for auction. Brown's Nursery is easy to find. Just a half-mile north of Phillipsburg on State Route 49, just 4 miles north of I-70 on exit 24. Plan now to fill your entire landscaping needs at a huge savings that can't be matched anywhere. Visit brownsnursery.com and click on the auction link at the top of the homepage for all the details. It's the annual stock reduction auction happening on Saturday, September 9th at Brown's Nursery, promptly at 719, rain or shine. Tell all your friends and neighbors. Delivery will be available Saturday, September 9th in Phillipsburg.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
to go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring today.
Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. For a limited time, buy one, get one 50% off on select interior and exterior paints and exterior stains via Lowe's gift card rebate. And the savings don't stop there. Save on select 3-quart mums. Right now, just 2 for $12. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/30. Mums offer in-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last. More terms and exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/rebates for details.
Shop Labor Day appliance savings at Lowe's. Now's the time to refresh your kitchen for less. Lowe's knows home improvement.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait, you do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
When you least expect it, life happens. You can count on McAfee's 24/7 service to be there when it does. Any season, anytime. McAfee.
Every Thursday at 3 p.m., Kinner and Kev will kick off the show with the voice of the Ohio State Buckeyes, Paul Keels. Don't miss the Kinner and Kev Show, weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. We'll get to your calls. We'll get to all your reaction, everything coming up here in just a second. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Off and rolling here. All right, college football kicks off officially this weekend. We caught up with ESPN's Heather Dinich this week. We talked a little NFL with Jack Duffin, salary cap expert, just a little bit ago, so I appreciate their time. Last thing that came in about this, Kev, I said that I could tell it's football season because my guy Ryan Holzapple over here, he's getting my blood pressure up. I can tell it's football season. But Ryan Holzapple said the Browns had high draft picks forever, so don't use that. Trying to dismiss my take about the Bengals are only good because of the high draft picks and all this stuff. How many first-round picks have the Browns had the last 10 years? They've made so many bad choices, it's hard to make up. Ryan, you guys are adorable. You crack me up, and here's why. You've never heard me say that the Browns have been great. You've never heard me say that. I've ripped the Browns for also squandering those opportunities. They're lucky that Baker gave them just enough of a good window to experience some kind of success, to win double-digit games, to make the playoffs, to win at Pittsburgh, by the way. I'm just saying, that was the last time Ben Roethlisberger
Hold on to those memories.
I'm just saying, in memories, they will be held on too dearly.
That's the last time being what?
Are you saying it was a fluke, Kev?
Judging off the last couple seasons, yeah.
So, now, Mr. Blake Bortles and Tim Tebow. I'm just saying.
No. Your win was a fluke.
Yeah. Well, bottom line is at least, all right, they got that win out of Baker. Otherwise, that could have just been way worse than what it ended up being. Now they get Deshaun, and obviously what Deshaun turns into is going to matter of whether or not they get away with it or not. Ryan, I've never once said that the Browns did it right. They screwed up Everything. High draft picks. They screwed that up. But let's be clear. You're kind of silly if you think that the Cincinnati Bengals have not benefited from the high draft picks. All right. If they win 7-8 games, they don't get Joe Burrow. All right. They win 9-10 games or 8-9 games, make the playoffs, barely get knocked out early. You're not getting Jamar Chase. You're not getting T. Higgins with the first pick in the second round that year. Like, you got your team built its talent pool because of how embarrassingly bad they were for a few years. That's not a hot take. That's a fact, Jack. Like, it's as simple as that. It's not a hot take. I'm not stirring the pot. I'm not trying to fit, that fits my narrative. No, that's common sense. Like that's what happened. The Browns did not capitalize the way that the Bengals did. That's all. There's no need to get your feelings hurt. It is okay to say that we are good because we sucked. It is totally fine. That's how the NFL works. Like, seriously, the Cardinals, by the way, they're going to move on from Kyler Murray. They're going to end up getting Caleb Williams, and they're going to be back in the playoffs within a year or two, and they're going to turn it around quickly. That's how the NFL works. The Jaguars, they were embarrassingly bad. They get, obviously, Trevor Lawrence, all that. All right. They had the bad experience with Herbs. All right. But look, last year in the playoffs, they're good because they sucked. Why are you not defending the Jaguars? Like, well, what about the Browns, Kinner? I'm just saying, that's what happened. And that's what's going to continue to happen. That's why I ripped Kev's team, because they keep bragging about winning 7, 8, 9 games, not 7, because he's above 500. We can't forget that. Don't let the disrespect Mike Tomlin. Right. If you're running in the middle, you're running nowhere because you're not getting the elite players in the draft to supplement the salary cap stuff, because while you're spending money here, you could plug holes with talented rookies and all that type of stuff. They're not doing that. Now, of course, they're going to get bailed out with Kenny Pickett. That's just going to tick me off and totally throw it off. Bottom line is, to win, you got to be bad. That's why I've said stop rewarding teams with the high draft picks. That's not a rant I wanted to get into, but you see what you did, Ryan. You see what you did. Happy August. It's almost September.
Man, it feels like October the way you're talking to the listeners. I think there's two ways it's going to catch. So you look at Kansas City, like they never bottomed out.
A Bengal. Continue.
The Kansas City Chiefs never bottomed out. They were able to, stay a very good team. And then they were able to grab Patrick Mahomes. He was the 12th pick.
12th.
So, and then he, quote unquote, redshirted his rookie year. And then he came in and lit this league on fire. And some people think he's the best quarterback of all time. And now look at them. And they're also, what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing, they're doing what I think the Bengals should do, basically put all their money into offense and go young on defense, have one star worth on defense and the rest young on defense. That helped them win the Super Bowl last year. They obviously let go of Thornhill, who ended up with your Browns, but, his rookie contract was up. So they're basically recycling. So I think the Cincinnati Bengals see what's going on with Kansas City and saying, you know what, I like the way they're doing it. We're going to do that, but we're going to do that because we have star wide receivers as well, not just a star quarterback.
Yeah, and when you talk about the multiple ways to skin a cat, the problem is, and use the Chiefs as that example.
Outlier.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
No, but yes and no. My point is there's multiple ways to skin a cat, but no one is game planning to get the number 12 draft pick, I guess. Look how many teams passed up on Patrick Mahomes. That wasn't one of those things where, so for instance, if Brock Purdy goes on to be like that, will be an outlier. Mr. Irrelevant goes on to be like that. That's a more impressive story. Like, had he gone on to lead the Niners to a Super Bowl last year, that's on pace with what we saw from Tom Brady.
Can you imagine the endorsements he would have got?
Oh my gosh. The play on his name Purdy and all that stuff. My goodness. And there's still a shot,
Definitely.
As far as that's concerned. But no, the bottom line is the blueprint that everyone follows is lose a bunch of games, be the worst team in the NFL. So we get the best player coming out of college. And then it just totally turns franchises around. It's not like the NBA where it takes years. It's not like the Major League Baseball where it takes 6-7 years before you benefit for sucking 7 years ago. It's wild to me as far as that's concerned. But don't take offense to it. It's okay.
I think what he's saying, there's been plenty of teams out there that have stunk for years and they've made these draft picks and those draft picks haven't worked out. The Cincinnati Bengals draft picks have worked out. We can look at the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears are expected to be a lot better this season, but I don't think anybody's picking them to make it to the playoffs. They've stunk, I don't know, since Rex Grossman was their quarterback. They had plenty of picks. They haven't changed. The Detroit Lions, I don't think they've been good since Barry Sanders.
Yep.
They've had Hall of Fame wide receiver and Calvin Johnson. They've had a pretty good quarterback and Matthew Stafford. It hadn't got them anywhere. So I think it's just like so many teams out there that pick high in the draft year after year after year, and they flame out. But the Cincinnati Bengals, they finally got it right. They got the guys that they wanted. They got their quarterback. They got a wide receiver that 1 year at the second pick with T. Higgins, and then they double back and say, you know what, we want another wide receiver. We're going to have an explosive offense, and it's working out for them.
Yeah, but you have 1 more year to get it done because you don't have a rich owner, cash rich owner. So at least your quarterback going to his all white parties and all that stuff or wherever he goes to and all that. And he's rich and all this stuff, he's lazy. He doesn't even take part in preseason. I think he fakes those injuries, by the way. He's too cool for school. He's too good for that. No, nonetheless, I can't wait. Browns Bengals week 1. We're getting closer. Let's go to Nick. What up, Nick?
So, I've sitting here and haven't been able to listen for a while, and I listened today, and I'm hearing you bash the Bengals.
It's been a while, Nick. I promise. Ask Kev. I have not. I haven't done this in a while, but Ryan started it. Blame your fan base.
Get the whole season that we went to the Super Bowl. What you beat the drum that the Bengals defense is the reason they made it to the Super Bowl.
And the kicker. Don't forget the kicker, Money Mac, my guy.
Last time I checked, they spent like $300 million on that defense. So
for the 15th ranked defense in the NFL. $300 million. That ain't spending money wisely.
Trey Henderson, DJ Reader, just re-signed Henderson. Going to re-sign Reader probably. They re-signed Logan Wilson. So I'm trying to figure out where they're cheap at here again.
Why isn't the quarterback signed?
I think Joe isn't ready to sign yet. I think he's trying to get.
Why? Why would he be ready to sign? What's he waiting on?
He's already got a 5th year with guaranteed money. Why does he need to be signed?
Why does every other quarterback? Why did Justin Herbert sign when he did? Why didn't he just take a 5th-year option?
Here's what I'm going to say. I believe it when I hear people say Joe Burrow is a different animal, right? And I think he is. I think he'll sign when he's ready. And I don't think he's going to feel pressured by anybody to sign.
I've never heard of anyone being excited not to sign for mega dollars. My boss asked me if I wanted a raise the other day, and I'm like, no. I'm a different animal. I'll sign it when I'll let you know when I'm ready for more money.
You got a raise?
With the 5th-year option already, he's got like 20 million, 19 million, something like that. So, he doesn't seem like he's hurting for money. I don't feel like he's feeling that need to rush and put that thing to paper, because he knows that the next 2 years are already taken care of.
Okay. If you say so, look, I'm just saying like that. Only Bengals fans will try to convince themselves that Joe Burrow's a different cat that doesn't want to get an extension.
Well, here's the thing. If he was like any other quarterback, I think you'd hear him say, especially after the calf injury, all right, we're getting this deal done or I'm not playing, right? I think he would be out there saying, I'm not playing until all my deal's done. He would be a Lamar Jackson out there saying things, right? So I think that proves that he is somewhat different.
Well, we should wait till week 1 if he's out there without a contract before we officially put him in that department, though.
I have a friend that has a strained calf, and I'm watching him. I don't think Joe's going to be able to play in week 1 if it's anything like what I've seen my buddies struggling to walk around with. And that's just walking. So I can't imagine trying to run away from, all these guys. And didn't they also sign an offensive tackle that they gave a ton of money to up front? What's his name? Orlando Brown?
No, you're saying it like that's not a big deal. Look, that pissed me off. How good of a you have kids in the car, and I'm swearing. My apologies. That angered me slightly because it was a good signing. Yes, Orlando Brown Jr. was the number 1 offensive lineman free agent and the number 2 overall free agent this offseason. Yes, that was a very good signing.
So I don't think you need to give Mike Brown credit. I think you need to probably give Katie Blackburn and the Blackburns credit, because I think they're actually running the show more.
Wait. You need to give Kev Nash credit, because I turned into Mr. Cleo the day before they signed him.
He said, who the offensive line of the Bengals? Orlando Brown Jr. That was Kev Nash that day. Was that Cleo? Was that a good Cleo? Who the fun of the baby?
Decent. I called it, and y'all can thank me later.
They also did add Kappa and Karras, and they did spend money. So
I don't care about Crappa Kappa. I'm just saying, like, they're not the Browns. I can't wait for week 1, Nick. Are you going to call in week 1? Are you going to call in on Monday after the Browns beat the Bengals? You better be the first caller on that Monday after the Browns beat the Bengals.
If you do a live show, I'll show up for you if that happens.
Ooh. All right, I'm on it. I'm a fan of that idea. We'll make that work. We'll do that.
Where are we at with the Kinner Kick for charity?
The Kinner Kick for charity.
We are still working on it.
We're still working on it. Don't you worry. We got Tim Williams. We got everything all lined up, ready to rock.
Yeah, he had to cheat and go get a coach.
Hey, I can't wait for it. I need to see that. Just let me know when and where that is.
Definitely.
Sounds good, man. Hey, take care, Nick. Sorry, kids.
You too, man.
Yeah. Cussing with kids in the car. What is wrong with you? You know, I go a whole show, don't say one swear word. I hear kids in the background. I have the urge to just say, like, you know, whatever it is I said. I don't remember what I said, but
like those coaches at Northmont.
Yeah, maybe I should be a offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, or something. But what is happening right now? Anyways,
off the rails as usual.
Yep. David Shaw says Lions winning the NFC North this year.
Rolling with Green Bay.
Ryan Strong said, what is this guy talking about? Hey, I like Nick. Now, I told you my very first time on air, okay? Very first time on air, didn't get any calls that day. Whatever, nervous as hell. And then the first time Neil was out and I hosted Dayton Sports Scene.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Reds warm-up. And I don't remember what my take was, to be honest, but this jerk called in and just like, remember, I'm new. Okay. I don't know how to deal. Like now I'm a guy. I'm a veteran. Okay. I welcome the hate. I welcome the mean calls. Okay. But at the time, this jerk called in and just let me have it. Screamed, ultimately hung up. That guy was Nick. And you could tell he was not a father back then because he's not as loud in the car anymore. He's not as mean in the car anymore. You could tell he's being a good role model for his kids. But before, man, that road radio, let me know. I don't even remember who I was defending. Nick, if when you get a chance, message into the show. What were you yelling at me for? I don't remember what the take was. Nick was my very first caller. I couldn't wait. I'm like, oh, I got a call. This is great. And he yelled at me. I'm like, never taking a call again. All right, college football. Kev Nash going to give you his conference championship predictions. That's coming up next. You're listening to the Kinner and Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Get ready, Shaw.
Shaw said, what Kev say about the Packers? He said they're winning the NFC. Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
NFC what? What are they? The
North.
The North. There you go.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 36 months. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check them out online at ColumbusEquipment.com.
At Harley-Davidson of Xenia, the atmosphere is positively electric as we look to the future. Our name may have changed, but Harley-Davidson of Xenia has been locally owned since 1984. Under our new management, the staff and store are buzzing to get you set up for the open road. Whether you're shopping for merchandise, a new bike, or just need some maintenance on your current ride, Harley-Davidson of Xenia is here for you. Visit us online to learn more and to place a reservation on your new bike. hdofxenia.com.
Oh, how great it would feel to have your 20-year-old knees, shoulders, hips, and back.
You know, you don't think about your pains when you're in your 20s or 30s, but you wish you could get that body back when you're in your 60s. I think QC did that for me.
For Patrick, it started with a simple phone call to QC Kinetics.
One day I was driving and I just heard the radio and I pulled over and took the number and I called them when I got home.
Maybe that's you and you're listening right now. Why wait? QC Kinetics Regenerative Treatments uses your body's own natural biologics to heal and restore damaged tissue without invasive surgery or harmful drugs. And as for the results,
my knees are as good as they were when I was in my 20s. I'm really happy with what happened.
For Patrick, it's like QC Kinetics turned back the clock. Now it's your turn. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights. Here advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods. Here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all. Here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next painting project with 11% off everything. Protect your trim and walls with Scotch Painter's Tape. It stays on any surface and can be easily removed without leaving any sticky residue behind. Make your painting project easier and get a 2-inch wide roll for $6.99 after 11% rebate. Good through September 4th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Discover credit cards do something awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you've earned, double. See terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Your third-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes kick off the season at Indiana this Saturday. Don't miss a second of the action as pregame coverage begins at 2 p.m. Go Bucks!
Now it's coming out one ear again. Doesn't make any sense. If only we had people to call around here that, just saying, like, it is ridiculous. Nothing works.
It's a fluke.
Kinner Kev, 1410 ESPN Radio. Hope everyone's doing well. We welcome you and shout out to Nick for calling it. By the way, Mr. Ty Bowman. Ty Bowman, if you're listening, he just left a note on the show page saying thank you for the ESPN T-shirts at Tire Choice over there. And, Tire Choice over on Marshall.
Yes, sir. Yes,
here
sir.
in Kettering.
Great guys
they
over there.
Take care of all our station vehicles here. Ty Bowman. But the Tire Choice over there on Marshall here in Kettering. Shout out to Ty Bowman and staff. But even though
I knew it.
He's a Bengals fan. But Ty always says they have the show on at the shop. So for everyone right now getting their tires and everything else worked on at Tire Choice, shout out to them. But Kev, you brought them out. He even thanked me. I didn't do it. I don't give Bengals fans ESPN T-shirts. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I had to get some work done to my car. They took good care of me, and he was going up to the Hall of Fame over the weekend, and they still got me done just in time, man. So I appreciate them. So I had to hook them up with a couple T-shirts.
Well, very nice. Very nice.
I'm a nice guy.
Yep. I might be having to get, my car worked on. I might be driving a lot. I might be needing my car worked on. I might be driving a lot soon. So I might be needing my car. I got to make sure it's safe.
So
right
before the wintertime, man.
Nonetheless. But Kinner and Kev, 1410 ESPN Radio. College football. The college football season's officially here. We'll talk some high school football coming up around the corner. Before we get to Kev Nash's conference predictions, I want to take a look at some of the premier matchups coming up this weekend. We're going to play a little game, Kev.
Would you like to play a game?
Guess the line.
Oh, goodness.
Guess the line.
I'm so bad at this.
Before we get to Kev's conference champ predictions, guess the line. Michigan, in their diabetic schedule, they open up with East Carolina. Bunch of cupcakes. What's the line, Kev? Guess the line.
35.
Very good. 36. The number 2 Michigan Wolverines on Peacock, by the way, are a 36-point favorite over East
that's
Carolina.
The first game on Peacock, right?
Yes, and people are like, okay, let's have this debate, shall we? Let's have this debate.
Okay.
People are upset about this, about the Peacock and all that other stuff. I'm here to tell you, I love college football so much. If it's on Peacock and I don't have Peacock, I'm going to go get Peacock because I want to watch college football. Like this idea, like, oh, they're going to lose fans. No, they're not. They're not going to lose fans. If the product's good enough, you'll chase it. For one, why do you think, so for instance, college football is not on Peacock. Why would Peacock pay so much for the rights to get it there? Because they know, how will they gain subscriptions? It's an investment. We're going to invest into the rights to carry college football because we know with where our subscription number is right now, that is going to go up significantly by investing into the rights to carry college football because all the college football fans are going to sprint to download this app to now carry, these games. They'll be fine. You'll watch it unless you're Shaw. I don't know what their DVR policy is with Michigan football on Peacock, Shaw, but nonetheless, I have no problem with it. Ohio State, wherever it is, it sucks. You got to channel hop all the time, whether it's NBC, CBS, Big Ten Network, Big Ten Plus, Peacock. I know that's unfortunate, but that's where we're going. So either crap or get off the pot. That's really what it comes down to. I don't care. I know it's annoying, but changes have been happening all over the place with college athletics. I don't mind this, but so many people upset. I'm not watching. Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will. If they kneel for the anthem, I ain't watching. You still watch. You still watch. Every time y'all try to boycott something, y'all watch. I don't want to hear it.
I hate it. I despise it. But guess what? I'll be watching just because I'm a college football fanatic. This is the way it's going. And the great thing about streaming services, there's a lot of bad that goes with streaming services, but a lot of good is you can cancel. So, just say Ohio State is playing whomever, and they're only going to be exclusively on Peacock for that game. I'll sign up for Peacock for that 1 month, watch the game, and turn it off because you can come and go as you please. You mean to tell me paying, I don't know how much Peacock is, say $15 to watch the Buckeyes, you're not willing to do that? Once the season is over and you streamed all their games, you can turn it off. Doesn't mean you have to keep it 365 and it's just going to keep banging your bank account every single month. You watch it, turn it off. That's all you really got to do. You just got to be on top of it. And, as a person that has recently cut off a lot of his streaming, Netflix, cut that off. Hulu, cut that off. I currently only have Amazon Prime. That's the only one I have. That's the last one standing because I want to watch some Thursday night football. But guess what? If the Thursday night football games stink, I'll turn it off. I'll just turn it off. I don't need it. If I don't want it, I just turn it off.
I'm also tired of having my card signed up to so many different things too. That I'll complain about. For a while I had Planet Fitness, I had the Y. I had both coming out.
Oh my gosh.
And then the Y drive me nuts. Oh, you can't cancel over the phone. You got to come in. No.
Yes.
No. Ma'am, you are going to pull my name up and then you're going to literally hit cancel. That's what you're going to do. Because if you don't, I'm going to report my card stolen and then you're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to take money out. I could play this game too. So just stop it with that. So when I go in, they could say, well, look, I'll tell you what, we'll knock it down to this if you do. But no. You want to be like that? Go sell used cars. I ain't in the mood for that. Cancel it. I had to jump through hoops to cancel it. I'm like, ain't doing that. It's bad enough I was paying for something I hadn't used in a year anyways. You're probably looking at me saying, oh, Kinner, you look in such great shape. You have to be using multiple gyms. No, I was not. Never doing that again. But that's the thing. That's what's why I keep having all this stuff. I pay for 2 ESPN Pluses. I don't remember. I don't know how I have 2 ESPN Plus accounts coming out.
That is crazy.
Multiple
because
emails.
You know what? That's the foul part because if you try to sign up with a streaming platform and you already been there with your email account, they won't let you do it. Like, oh, no, we won't let you do it. You have to pay the new rate. And if you try to sign up with the new subscription rate or whatever, you get half off or whatever, they won't let you do it. But if you can still pay with the same credit card or bank account, they'll just ding, 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 ding you to death.
Yep. Ding-a-ding, ding-a-ding, ding-a-ding. They just keep dinging it all over the place. How? I guess because Netflix back in the day, it used to be, now they recognize your payment. To where before it was, I use this email to get this deal 30 days free. Then you just create another email and then you just keep doing that process over and over and over. Well, now it's based on the card. Like it recognizes the card. So no, but then when I was single, I had one. And then me and my wife, we got one of our own. And then now it's coming out of both. It was a mess. It's bad enough, that, no, I can't go there. It's bad enough that I don't have money to begin with. Okay. But half my money is going out to duplicated subscriptions out there. I almost said prescriptions. What the hell are we talking about here?
Drop some pills in the chat.
How about the blood pressure pills? Since football season's here, I got to make
got to re-up.
All right. Man.
No, what I was going to say about Michigan being on Peacock, last time they were debuting on a new channel was the Big Ten Network, and they lost to App State. They lost to App State.
Well, I will say this.
They lost to App State.
With as bad as their non-con is.
They lost to App State.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Absolutely, they did. But if I'm Peacock, I'm mad at Michigan. What are you guys mad at us for? We're mad that we have to carry your crap-ass non-conference schedule. That's what I'd be mad. If I'm Peacock, I'm mad at Michigan. Michigan shouldn't be mad the other way around. But nonetheless. All right, guess the line. That's what we're doing here. So, yes, Kev guessed 35, the spread for Michigan and East Carolina. It was 36. Very nice. All right, how about number 12, Tennessee, Kev? Number 12, Tennessee is at home. They have Virginia at home. Unranked Virginia.
17.
28. The Volunteers are a 28-point favorite. Tickets are $73 for this matchup, by the way.
I would go with the under on that. Yeah, I would go with the under.
You think, yeah, I could see that.
Man, Virginia's bad, but are they that bad? I don't know.
Guess the line. Oklahoma, number 20, welcoming in Arkansas State. Oklahoma at home, of course. This is a noon kickoff on ESPN.
27.
That is a 35-point spread, nonetheless. But you're still pretty close on these. I mean, these aren't bad. Nonetheless. So, number 25, Iowa, out of the Big Ten. They're at home. They have Utah State.
I'm going to go with 13 because there's a lot of unknowns. I think that Iowa's going to be pretty good this upcoming season, but there's still a lot of unknowns. I'm going to go with 13.
13 is incorrect. The line for that matchup, Iowa is a 25-point favorite.
Ooh, I'm banging the under.
Yeah, 25.
I'm banging the under until I see it, even though I think they're going to be good this season.
You have them in the Big Ten championship.
I do. I do.
They're going to get either beat down by Ohio State or Michigan, that's for sure. But nonetheless. All right, let's go to – I'm trying to bring up some of these more entertaining ones. So, nope, I'm not going to do that one. Wisconsin, number 19, first year for Luke Fickell. They have Buffalo out of the MAC in town.
I'm going to go with a 24-point.
28. So very close, very close.
Not bad, not bad.
Man, this is week one. This is garbage. This is why for everyone out there, by the way, that is mad about all this conference realignment, you get more good games. This isn't like
allegedly.
I'm sorry. This is absolutely ridiculous, Kev. Like I get they have some of these. I mean, the premier matchup on Monday night is Clemson and Duke.
Conference game.
Number 9, Clemson at Duke.
Conference
My goodness. So Clemson's on the road at Duke. Conference game, yes, but
Clemson 20.
Clemson is a 13-point favorite on the road at Duke.
Okay.
You don't have a problem with being a 13-point favorite, top 10 team in the country, going up against an unranked team, only a 13-point favorite. Would Ohio State be only a 13-point favorite at Duke?
Probably be like a 20, 21.
All right. Come on, Clemson. I've been not a Dabo fan, but I've been a Dabo defender. But, man, they've regressed over the last couple of years. I think this is an important year for Clemson to prove that they're still a power.
The crazy part about that, we talk about regression. They've won 10-plus games for the last 13 seasons. And that's regressing. You're losing your grip. But the reality is, in today's society in college football, if you're not playing in the college football Final Four, it's a bust.
And I think what worked against them, if they're not getting to the national championship and all this consistently for that stretch, then we're still saying how still solid of a program they are. But when you're beating Ohio State and Urban Meyer and Ryan Day, when you're beating Nick Saban and blowing out Nick Saban in the national championship game, when you're doing those things, and then now you're regressing and you're not getting the Trevor Lawrences, you're not getting the Deshaun Watsons. Now all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, that's just a couple nice recruiting classes.
Fluke?
Yeah, fluke. Fluke is the word of the day, by the way. So there's that. All right, your Florida State Seminoles are welcoming in the LSU Tigers.
I think I cheated because I think I already know this. I think LSU is favored by 2.5.
LSU 2.5-point favorite on the road at Florida State. I'm going with Florida State on this. The love for LSU, I think, is because of the fact that they were a feel-good story last year, first-year coach, and everyone loves the name brand of the coach and everything, and it's the SEC. Florida State, I think they're back, and I think that if there was ever a year where the ACC is so desperate right now, they need Florida State and Clemson to be a top 10 team for the full season. They need it. They need to show that the conference is healthy. They need to show that that was the Pac-12's problem. I think you mentioned it yesterday with Heather Dinich. It's been decades before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, USC, even now, even last year, it looks like they're back, but you lose to Tulane. Like, what are we doing? So, or did they lose or did they? Yeah, they lost in that bowl game. Like, I'm sorry, and no disrespect to Tulane, but Ohio State's not losing to Tulane.
Better not.
And if they did, we wouldn't let them hear the end of it. USC has no business in a meaningless bowl game or not losing to Tulane, period. I think
with the
that's
Heisman Trophy winner playing.
So, and had a huge game on top of it. And you have Lincoln Riley and the brand of USC and all this. So, the demise of that is the face of your conference is just not. It's not the same anymore. The ACC, they would benefit greatly if Florida State and Clemson could be powers. I think that the ACC gets off to a hot start. I think Clemson gets a huge win on the road too, but I think Florida State gets the big week 1 win against LSU. I'm jacked for that game.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so.
I remember being at Ultrafest last year. Florida Notre Dame played. That was a really good game last year. That was a really was that last year that they played?
that was Florida Utah.
Florida Utah. I thought. When did Florida State play Notre Dame?
Oh no, yeah, that was 2 years ago. Florida State.
2 years ago.
Florida State, Notre Dame. I thought
2 years ago at Ultrafest. What did I do last year? Did I not go?
No, you.
It was for the kids. All the drinking and gambling. It was for the kids. Why was I not at Ultrafest last year? I don't. Sorry, I had to.
Were you in Florida?
Hey, people think I'm mocking Ultra for that. I'm not. I love it. If there were more schools out there that did more drinking and gambling events for the kids, I would be there supporting schools all around the Miami Valley.
What type of gambling events?
I don't even know the name of the game.
They're playing
they have this little spinner thing. They spin it. You put so they have like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you put like your dollars on there, and then and then it's a great game.
I 3-card Motley
didn't really, but for the kids, I love losing money and drinking for the kids. So Ultrafest, baby, Ultrafest. But
free promo.
There you go. All right, let's see. Let's continue to go down. I like this matchup, even though it's unranked West Virginia. West Virginia at Penn State.
Ooh, rivalry game, classic rivalry game. I'm going to say Penn State is favored by 20.
Very well done, 20.5. So close, but 20.5. I think that's closer. I hope Penn State's as good as what everyone says. I'm just not a believer in James Franklin right now. So if Penn State throttles them, that's a good thing. But I don't know why. I just feel something about that matchup. And they have it 7:30 NBC nonetheless. So
can't wait. Can't wait.
All right. Let's continue to go down this list. Let's get to it, shall we? How about this one? Ohio State, number 3 at Indiana. We already know this one. It is a 30-point line. But as we said yesterday, I don't think Ohio State covers. I think that they blow them out multiple possession win. I can't talk right now. I can't score. Multiple score win. They're going to win by 3 or 4 touchdowns, but I don't know if it's by 30.
Cover.
I can't do math apparently either.
Cover. Buckeyes cover.
You think they cover?
OH.
Kyle McCord, for Kyle McCord's sake, cover.
Cover
or take cover is what I got to say. All right, the last one here.
Scoop
on the way
and score.
Out. Yes, good. Whatever you got to do, figure it out. Colorado. Dion. I'm so jacked for this. Dion, baby. Colorado. The Colorado Deion Sanders on the road at TCU, the number 17 team in the country. Guess the line, Kev. Colorado at number 17, TCU.
TCU is favored by 23.
20.5.
Okay. And they cover. They cover well. Something very unknown about TCU is this year's starting quarterback was the starting quarterback last year. He got hurt for the entire season, and the backup played the rest of the season. And, he's the backup quarterback for the Chargers right now in the NFL. He got cut? Wow. He is not the backup for the Chargers in the NFL, but he was the backup last year. So you would imagine if he was a starter last year, they'd be better, right? So I think Colorado gets destroyed. And I saw that they are it's 3.5. Do they get to 3 or 4 wins this year? Are they going over or under the 3.5?
I don't know the win total, but I do know this after week 1.
Oh no.
Dion, baby, prime time.
You love
prime time. I love Dion, man. 1 leg, 2 legs, it don't matter. Dion going to be pacing that sideline, leading Colorado. Play his dance, play his song. They winning.
What are we putting on it? What we putting on it?
Frickers Bucks.
There it is. Wait. Kinner Bucks.
No, I'm gambling all my bucks at Ultrafest this weekend for the kids. I'd buy you a drink, but I'm saving all my money to buy drinks at Ultrafest this week for the kids.
For the kids.
Colorado's upsetting TCU. You heard it here first.
Not a chance in Hades.
Really?
Not a chance in Hades.
Interesting.
Not a chance. Not a chance, dude.
Really looking forward to this matchup. Florida, Utah.
Oh, yeah. That's
Florida
good.
Unranked, Utah number 14.
I would. The line is probably Utah by 6.
6.5.
Yeah. But there's so many unknowns. I mean, we joked about it all week long about the depth charts from Alabama to the Oars with UCF to Oregon just basically releasing our roster. But like there's a real issue going on with Utah and the quarterback Cam Rising. Like he had to have knee reconstruction surgery in January. Like, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? And guess what? Their backup quarterback is hurt too. So, you know, I might be going out there to play QB for Utah.
Utah's going to be kicking themselves looking back at this little era. I mean, I think Utah will be fine. I think they're a very well-run program, but they've had a legitimate team. I think that the best team, think about it, what's the best team to not make the playoff in the last 2 years, 3 years?
Oh, man,
like
that's a
Ohio
good
State's
question.
missed the playoff, but they deserved it. They had the flaws, right? Like I don't think there's an Ohio State team that's missed it that I thought, you know, if they're in,
that's a
I'm
good
fine with it.
question.
I say that because I think it's Utah. I think last year's Utah team, and even the year before,
yeah, last year, they were good, but they weren't great.
they
I
were
think
expected to be better than what they were too. But this matchup is a thorn in Utah's side. Florida gave them, I mean, they beat Utah right off the bat. Utah was Utah was my team I predicted to make the playoff last year and all this stuff. And I don't think that was a hot take. I mean, you had an NFL caliber quarterback, you had NFL caliber wide receivers, great guys on defense, good run game. And they lost to Florida. And they really, it's like once they lost that game, they just didn't believe in themselves or the conference's ability to get the benefit of the doubt to potentially get a one-loss Pac-12 team.
But they did us a great favor. They handled business versus USC in the Pac-12 championship game. They got the Buckeyes into the Final Four.
Yeah,
Go
but
Utes.
and the Utes fans love me. And the
Go
Utes fans love me. Kev Nash, conference champion predictions next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
School on! Save on!
Back to school is on, and Staples has great prices on everything you need for your best year yet. Save on headphones and laptops. Save on notebooks, pens, and all the essentials. Priced low and still in stock. And right now at Staples, 24-pack Crayola crayons and comp books are only 50 cents each. Plus, select notebooks are just 35 cents each. School on, save on at Staples, where school savings are always in session. Ends 9/16. In-store only. Limit 30.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. DayQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. The daytime, non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
College football Hall of Famer Keith Byers here to tell you about OGW Energy Resources. If you own a home or a business and want to save money, then going solar with OGW Energy Resources is the way to go. OGW Energy Resources have been helping the Miami Valley save money by going solar for over 14 years. There is no better time than now to look into going solar. For more information, check out their website at ogwenergyresources.com. Go solar today. OGW Energy Resources. Your energy, your future, control it.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Looking for something to do this fall? It's not too late to join a fun fall league, adult, youth, or mixed. Polking Bowling Centers has a fun program just for you, providing a safe and sanitized bowling environment. Visit polkingbowling.com or Facebook for the list of fall programs. Let the good times roll at Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, and Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive. Hot rods, muscle cars, classics. You gotta see Cars and Parts Giant Swap Meet and Car Show this Friday and Saturday at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield. You gotta be there. Fun for the whole family. Bargains on everything automotive. Buy, sell a collector car, see show cars, find parts for your winter restoration project. Cars and Parts Giant Swap Meet and Car Show this Friday and Saturday at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield. Call 937-376-0111 for more info or visit ohioswapmeet.com.
Discover credit cards do something awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you've earned, double. See terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Dayton sports fans, for more local sports content, make sure to subscribe to Dayton's ESPN Radio YouTube channel. And don't miss the Miami Valley's only local sports talk show, The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 Wing AM.
Update on the Cincinnati Reds. They're done.
Red legs.
Thanks for a great season. It was fun. It was fun thinking that they had a shot. Here's my problem, Kev, with this is everyone keeps saying, stop being negative. They're still a game and a half out of the playoffs. You can't be that simple. You can't be that simplistic with this, Kev. Like, yes, they're a game and a half out.
Mm-hmm.
But my negativity is not, and I think how you're playing matters. They're a game and a half out when they were a game up a week ago. That's why I'm being negative. Stop acting like I hate when people do. I can't believe Kinner's being negative when they're a game and a half out of the playoffs. I'm negative because they were actually 3.5 games up in the division. I'm negative because a week ago they were a game up in the wild card. That's why, it's not that they're, yes, are they in striking distance? Yes, but they're not playing well. Watch how they're playing. They can't score runs. That's all. But
28 games left.
28 games left.
Where do they got to go?
I would have to sit down and do the math. Bottom line is the Brewers are kicking ass right now. I think they've won 9 of their last 10, or I think they're on a double-digit winning streak too. I could be wrong. I haven't even looked at that here in a second, but I mean, just unbelievable as far as that's concerned. The Reds have scored 3 runs or fewer. This is a tweet from Lance McAllister. Shout out to Lance over in Cincinnati, 700 WLW. Lance McAllister tweeted out that the Reds have now scored 3 runs or fewer in 21 of 42 games since the All-Star break. What do you think the record is in those 21 games that they've scored 3 runs or fewer?
10 and 11.
I wish. They are 1-22.
Are you serious?
Post All-Star break, when they have scored 3 runs or fewer, they are 1-20. They are 1-20. So 20. I said that. They have scored 3 runs or fewer in 21 of 42 games. In those 21 games, they are 1-20. That's a good Lance. That's a good stat.
A very good stat.
That's scary. Actually, that's bad. That's bad because you're 1-20. You're a game and a half out. You win 5 of those, but hey, maybe it was a fluke. Maybe it was a fluke. Instead of holding people accountable and saying, hey, they didn't make the trades that they needed to better this team. It's just a fluke. Maybe if equipment. You wouldn't have to blame people for why something can say it's a fluke or something like that. Like, make trades at the deadline. That's what I thought they were going to do. Anyways, baseball's in the past. The Reds are done. But tune in tonight. Reds baseball, 1410 ESPN Radio. We are off tomorrow for Reds baseball, so keep that in mind.
Go Red Legs.
Yep. But nonetheless,
could be worse. They could be 7 games out of the AL Central. Like my Guardians.
I don't want to hear it could be worse. No.
Could be way worse.
No.
Your organization could have quit on you. You're one of the best managers of all time. It could be retiring at the end of the season.
Yeah, see, that's how you could tell it's content season right now. That I've had in my notes for days and weeks about that Francona thing, about potentially retiring.
It's over. He's shutting it down. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, he deserves it.
Yeah, but and then he'll magically be healthy in a year or two when a very good team. Oh, he's the next Reds manager. Because they're going to bring David Bell back next year, and then they'll realize. But if they just ask me, if the Castellinis, and Nick Kroll just
ask
me,
Terry Francona about analytics, he might punch you in the face.
That's fine. The only analytic that matters wins. Actually, yeah.
You'd be like, you want to what?
Oh, my goodness, nonetheless. All right, Kinner and Kev, 1410 ESPN Radio. All right, let's predict, or let's let Kev Nash predict college football conference champions.
All right. Let's start on a conference that is going to be ending very, very soon. Let's start out there on the West Coast. The Pac-12 championship game will be the Washington Huskies taking on the Oregon Ducks. I have the Washington Huskies winning the Pac-12. They're replacing a lot on that offensive line, but that defense is good. And Michael Penix Jr., last time I rolled with Michael Penix Jr., he had a very, very good season when he was a QB at Indiana. Had a great season last year. I got the Washington Huskies winning the Pac-12.
Keep in mind, the last time Ohio State played at Indiana is when they had Michael Penix Jr. That would have been 2020. It was the COVID year. It was an empty stadium, and they could not say I like him. I didn't remember where he ended up.
Lefty.
And he's high on a lot of draft boards for next year. He's one of those guys that is not going to be picked in the top 10, but like he's one of those if you're picking at 19 or 20 and he's there. I could see kind of like Richardson could potentially get that kind of treatment as well. But Washington's one of those non-sexy brands. They don't excite me. But when you have the exciting quarterback play, that changes things.
Yeah,
you like Washington.
Yeah.
Out of the Pac-12, you're picking Washington.
Yeah.
Not USC.
Nope. Washington. Only Oregon and Washington have made the college football playoff from the Pac-12.
Only Oregon and Washington. Yep. No USC. That's why. And Heisman favorite quarterback, Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley, USC, going to the Big Ten, all this fun. Washington.
We could score on them.
Yeah, that was obvious the other day. Like for people that say, we won't know who Ohio State is till Notre Dame. I don't know. We already saw USC against Fresno State. Who they played the other day?
San Jose State.
San Jose State. I couldn't remember who they were. What nothing about them. They were moving the ball on USC.
Getting behind that secondary again.
So they're going to have to score a lot of points in that nonetheless. Okay. All right. Washington out of the Pac-12. That's Kev's Pac-12 champion prediction. All right. Next.
Let's go down to the Big 12. The Big 12 is going to be expanding. K-State won the Big 12 last year. They beat TCU. So I got them returning to the championship game for the Big 12. They will face the Texas Longhorns, your favorite guy. Your favorite guy going to be QBing the Texas Longhorns. And I got Texas winning the Big 12 for their final season in the Big 12. That's the way you should go out. You should win it. I would prefer Texas and Oklahoma playing in the Big 12 championship game, but I think K-State's going to play them, and I got Texas winning the Big 12.
I love the idea of Texas winning a Big 12 championship on the way out.
I despise it.
And the reason is because prove that you're worth all the noise for the SEC to go and grab it. Oklahoma's the one, especially with Venables last year. Like they looked really good to start at the beginning of the year. I'm like, man, Oklahoma's really good. And then they looked bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they just, that was a weird little step back for them. So I think that Texas right now, they have a very good coach. Their recruiting is really good. The NIL has definitely helped them. They're the only program in the entire country that has two quarterbacks making $2 million+ in NIL money. Your backup quarterback is making now. I think him being a Manning has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, by the way, which is so funny because I saw the PR thing of, the Mannings aren't letting him collect NIL money and blah, blah, blah. Oh, stop. I don't care. Like, I hate when we do that do-gooder. Like, no, we want him to earn it and blah, blah, blah. Hey, it's a free market. I have a chance to make it. I don't care. Like, stop with that. Like, you're not impressing me, Manning family, by saying that you're not allowing him to go make NIL money. You sound like a controlling, just snobby family. Quit it. Let him go make his dough.
So to piggyback on that, I kind of went down a rabbit hole, and some of the Texas fans were kind of, upset because like, hey, man, you come from a rich family. Why don't you let some of the other guys get some of that NIL money so we can get more recruits to come in? But you're taking it and you're not even starting it. And I go from the same mindset that, hey, man, it's a free market. And guess what? That's my parents and my grandfather and my uncle's money. I don't have any money. Like, that's their money. It's my chance to get some money. So go ahead and get that money.
It's like when I remember the story that Shaq always shares all the time. Every time I hear that's my Shaq impersonation. Every time I hear my kids say that we're rich, he goes, no, I'm rich. You're not rich. I'm rich. And that's the philosophy right there, nonetheless. But all right, next up, Kev. So you have Washington winning the Pac-12.
Yes.
You have Texas
winning
the Big 12.
Yep.
Next up.
All right, let's go to the Atlantic Coast Conference. My beloved Florida State Seminoles hopefully are back. I pray that they're back, and I pray that they play Clemson for 2 times. because they play Clemson the last week in September. So they got a crazy tough schedule to start out September. So they play LSU to start the season off, and then they play Clemson all in the first 4 weeks of the season. I say they lose to Clemson the first time, but then beat the Clemson Tigers in the ACC championship game. Go Noles.
Interesting. So you have Clemson winning.
No, I have Florida State winning.
Florida State winning.
They lose no. They play Clemson. So they're doing the new thing in the ACC where there's no division. So it's the best two teams play in the conference championship game. So I have them losing to Clemson the first matchup, but then beating them in the ACC championship.
As it should be. I love that 4-bet, and I think that's what you got to do. I just hope they don't play each other back-to-back weeks. That would just be very, very upsetting. Anyways, next up. All right, so you had done the Pac-12, you've done the Big 12, you just did the ACC. Let's do the SEC.
Yeah. This was tough. This was very tough because I didn't want to pick the cliche or the chalk version, but I looked at the schedule, man. Georgia, we laugh, we joke about, Michigan's cupcake schedule. Their schedule is a breeze. They play 2 games all regular season. They play Tennessee and they play Florida. Those are the 2 toughest games on their schedule until they play Alabama in the SEC championship game. And I got Bama winning the SEC championship game. I got Bama winning it and taking down the defending champs in the SEC championship game. This is going to be a storybook season for Nick Saban. It's kind of like a throwback situation. I think they're going to go ground and pound because of the quarterback situation, and the defense rises up. So I got Bama winning the SEC championship game.
Yeah, I hear people say that's not like this is actually when Alabama's the most dangerous.
Yeah.
When they don't have expectations, a lot of his championships his last 2 championships have been on years where there was a lot of the Mac Jones championship was. Well, we don't know who Mac Jones is. He's not Tua. He's not, Jalen Hurts, all that. And this is a guy that wasn't good enough to beat either of those 2 out. Well, he goes on to win a Heisman. He does all that fun stuff and, gets drafted high, all that. Yeah. So good for Mac Jones. Good for Bama. This could be maybe a potential repeat of that. We'll see what happens. But nonetheless. All right. And on to the Big 10, the Big Dime, the Big 16, or the Big 14, or whatever they are. The Big 10.
We already know that I think Iowa's going to be very good this season. I have Iowa coming out of the west of the Big 10, the lesser side of the Big 10, but coming out of the east, the tough side of the Big 10. Do I go with Penn State, your favorite guy, Jonathan Franklin? Do I go with the beloved Buckeyes? Do I go with who I think is the best team, not only in the Big 10, but the best team in the country? Unfortunately, I am going to go with the Michigan Wolverines playing Iowa in the Big 10 championship game. I think that Michigan is the best team in the Big 10. I think Michigan is the best football team in the country. And it would be great if, the Michigan transfers could beat Michigan, but it ain't going to happen. I got Michigan winning the Big 10.
I thought you'd have a little love for Sparty. What's going on? Oh, Sparty, not yet. Not yet.
Next year.
That's
go
next
green,
year.
go white next year.
Oh, I got to cleanse the airwaves. Don't worry, folks. I got you. I'm cleansing the airwaves with the Buckeye music.
It hurts.
Nonetheless.
I have another hot take about this college football season. Every team in the college football Final Four will have at least 1 loss.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. I've heard you say every team in the playoff will have 1 loss.
Yes.
Team that's never made the playoff that has the best shot to make the playoff this year.
Texas
over you. You're not sold on USC.
No.
Not sold on USC. Okay.
No.
Not sold on USC. Jody Van Winkle, he says WTF.
I know.
Ty Bowman says, come on, Kev. You're killing me.
I know. It hurts. It hurts my soul.
Ty, did you hear our shout out to you a little bit ago? Did you hear it? Just want to make sure. And picking Michigan. Yeah, Jody is not a fan of you right now.
I'm not a fan of me.
And it's ironic. It's Jody. Jody.
Is it with an I or a Y?
It's a Y. Jody Van Winkle. I mean, if we did like awards for our listeners, who has the coolest name? Jody Van Winkle, I think.
Not bad.
Who else? Trying to think of some cool names of the listeners that we have. Like Gordon Gross. Gross. That's a unique name.
GG.
Yeah, but Jody Van Winkle.
Jody.
There you go. Sitting back thinking right now. So I think now I'm going to wait on that. We're going to wait till we get to Friday for our bold predictions for the season. But that's Kev's bold prediction right there. All 4 teams that make the playoff will have 1 loss. So there's that. All right. Jody Van Winkle says his dad's name is Rip. Rip Van Winkle.
Wow.
That's a badass name. Rip Van Winkle. Jody Van Winkle. Man, that's really cool. Gordon Gross said Kev started drinking early today. Folks, I don't think picking Michigan to win the Big Ten is that hot of a take. Let's wait. I'm going to wait till I see Ohio State's defense this week. But Ohio State, Lincoln Riley, Ryan Day are the same coach. They're the same coach. They have the same success and they have the same deficiencies. It's very wild. They're known for their offense, and this is why we talk all the time about, if you're a defensive coordinator, you struggle on the offensive side of the ball and vice versa. Lincoln Riley and Ryan Day are the same. They're the exact same. So, and it's funny, they came into the league very, very similar, or they came into college very similar. Ryan Day replaced a legend. So did Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
Both had all the pressure on them. Both coaches won right away with a lot of the players of those guys. Now both have had a chance to kind of reinvent themselves. I know Lincoln Riley's at USC now and hasn't been with the same team the whole time, but it's the identity at Oklahoma, Kev. It's funny how it hasn't changed. Like Caleb Williams is at Oklahoma, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like that would have been Oklahoma. And that's who they were. Couldn't stop anybody, couldn't stop a nosebleed, and they scored a ton of points. That's Ohio State until I see otherwise coming up this weekend. By the way, so someone just talked about the money. I can't find it now. My bad. It was something about the NIL money. I got to float through this. Man, I cannot find it. That stinks. Oh, well. Someone was talking about the NIL money, about how much money they were making, Caleb Williams and others. That Arch Manning is making more as a backup at Texas than the backup at Texas makes more than some of the backups in the NFL and all this stuff. And this is why, everyone called, BS when Caleb Williams said he doesn't know if he's going to go to the draft next year. He's already everyone's number one overall pick and all this stuff. The thing is, it used to be, I really, really enjoy college. I love the college environment experience, but I have to go get paid. But if you're getting paid now, not as much as what you will in the NFL, but I mean, if you can have your cake and eat it too, that's a good compromise. I could see him. They have options now to where before it's like, I don't really want to go play at Cleveland, who has the number one overall pick, but I'm not making money here. I can at least go make money and give myself a shot. Now it's, I can come back and make $2 or $3 million in NIL, still have a chance to compete for a national championship because I don't want to go play at Arizona. Look out. Like, this is the thing. I think that, I don't know if he wants to go play for Arizona. Caleb Williams talking about, of course, the team to look out for that I don't think has decided whether they're tanking or not. It's the Rams. I think that the Rams, and I think it makes sense because you also have Caleb Williams, who's also on the West Coast right now too. I think it would make a lot of sense. I think the Rams are, keep an eye on what they do to start, Kev. I think that they want to try. You have Cooper Kupp, you have Matthew Stafford, you have Aaron Donald on the defensive side. It's a very young team. It's not the team that they were 2 years ago when they won the Super Bowl. All right. When they beat Joe Burrow and company. And all that, just reminding everyone, they beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl. So, and by the way, that wasn't that was holding. I don't care what anyone says. You saw he was holding onto the jersey. You can't do that. I don't know why y'all are trying to reinvent the rule book just because it benefited your team, or technically didn't. But Kev, I think that if they get off to a slow start, look for phantom injuries. Look for, we're being very cautious with Matthew Stafford. I think that the Rams right now, they're very close to blowing this all up and restarting anyways. I could see trading Cooper Kupp at the end of the year, trading Aaron Donald, do what we got to do, replenish those draft picks. You have number one overall pick potentially in Caleb Williams or any of the star quarterbacks. I think the Rams are rebuilding, but I think if the Rams have the number one overall pick, McVay, the head coach, I guarantee you Caleb Williams comes out, but he sees that mess in Arizona. Not so much. I think he's Arizona's quarterback. If he does come out and Arizona has number one overall pick, I think they're moving on from Kyler Murray. New ownership, new coach, everything. I don't think Kyler Murray is a part of Arizona's long-term plans. I don't think they care that he's not coming back. I think that makes it easier to tank. When you have a star quarterback that you've paid a lot of money to, you have to compete. Now you could just lose everything and restart the clock with the rookie contract at quarterback.
Not bad. I think this NIL affects guys that are like, second, third round picks. Are like, man, I could come out and leave and go to the NFL and test my luck, or I could just stay and make millions in college and better my draft status as well. I don't think Caleb Williams can better his draft status other than being number one. I think the only play for your argument is, hey, I don't want to play for them. Well, guess what? What if they suck again next year and they're right back on that same spot, or an even worse team is in that spot to grab you?
Yeah, because you just don't know. But I mean, sometimes it's like you do. I mean, to be fair, going to Cincinnati, that's like Joe Burrow is why, and Trevor Lawrence now too. It's like, okay, go make the best of that situation. You'd be a god in the NFL. If you go to the Rams and do it again, it's Sean McVay doing it again.
Mm-hmm.
No one said Zach Taylor did it with Joe Burrow. It's Joe Burrow doing it in Cincinnati, right? And Trevor Lawrence now, he gets that head coach, but Trevor Lawrence is like being propped up even more because he's doing it in Jacksonville. When you win in Jacksonville, when you win in Cincinnati, obviously Deshaun wasn't drafted by Cleveland, but it had Baker been the guy and it looked like he was trending in that direction. Look how much more that meant. It felt bigger, right? So that's the thing too. You get drafted by the Rams, you're McVay. You're a McVay quarterback. It's a system type thing. You know what I mean? Like that type of situation. It'll be interesting nonetheless. By the way, this is a Common Man moment. It's interesting you bring up Common Man and T-Bone, by the way. Shout out to Common Man and T-Bone. Shout out to Paul Keel. Shout out to Bobby Carpenter. Shout out to the fan over in Columbus. This is a Common Man moment. He also says that Chris Carter and KB are canceling you, Kev.
Good thing I don't see KB. Oh, I'll see KB tomorrow.
Yes, you will. You're in tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm in tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I gotta let him know.
Uh-oh. Oh.
By the way, he is a top 25 voter.
Mm-hmm.
And he has Ohio State as the number 1 team in the country.
Go Bucks.
And you don't even have them winning the Big Ten.
I don't.
Gordon Gross says OSU is going to need the defense to show up this year. The defense has peed away national championships over the last several years when their offense was elite. Yeah. I mean, the defense has cost Justin Fields national championship. The defense, and he actually had a good defense, but CJ Stroud definitely was cost national championships. And whoever the quarterback is this year could potentially be cost a national championship if this defense is that bad. But it might be the O-line and the defense. If I'm excited for the game on Saturday. Ohio State's winning. We know that. It's just a matter of, some of the flaws you're going to see. I'm curious about the flaws because how quickly can those flaws be fixed? That's going to be the big question mark, nonetheless.
Go Bucks.
All right. We caught up with Jack Duffin. He is a salary cap expert. We caught up with him earlier on the show. If you missed it, don't worry. We have that coming up for you, coming up here around the corner. Man, was that a swear word? Was that
No, it definitely wasn't.
Oh, nonetheless. All right. It's the Kinner and Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN radio station. Be right back. Maybe if I hit the right button.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast mostly clear tonight, 58 the overnight low. Sunshine, 74 Wednesday, mostly sunny, 77 Thursday. I'm Rick Schreck for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Carol Wirtz Tire and Auto Service at 730 South Patterson in Dayton, where they treat every vehicle like their own and every customer like family. Online at c-wtire.com.
Now's the time to get a great deal on Kubota construction equipment, featuring durable Kubota engines, more comfort, more productivity, more get it done right. The Kubota construction lineup shows up ready to work every day. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 36 months. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check them out online at columbusequipment.com.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Hey, I'm college football Hall of Famer Keith Byers, and I'm here with John Glazier from Glazier Soft Water. Did you know we are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes?
Yes, I did. But did you know that Glazier Soft Water is the home of the 7-year worry-free parts and labor warranty? We've been making water great since 1988. What were you doing in 1988?
That was my 3rd year in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. I had 10 touchdowns that season, and we made the playoffs in 1988.
So you can say that we both have been doing great since 1988. Glazier Soft Water. Glazier Water is better water.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
to go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring today.
Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. For a limited time, buy one, get one 50% off on select interior and exterior paints and exterior stains via Lowe's gift card rebate. And the savings don't stop there. Save on select 3-quart mums. Right now, just 2 for $12. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/30. Mums offer in-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last. More terms and exclusions apply. See Lowes.com/rebates for details.
Okay, so website's done.
Okay, great. But now we need to optimize it.
Optimize?
The build it and they will come mindset doesn't really work here.
So what do we